black husbands Ram 1500 black on black truck.
Boom!
That's what I like. I love that truck. And he's got upset. So he was unhappy because I took it. But that is what I like. And I'm gonna tell you why I like it. Because when I'm driving it, it sits all up high, be like, move, yo. So this is what's true.
It's got the Hemi and it got the Hemi in it.
Yeah, I be like, move, get out the way. I'm telling you, I love that truck. No, it's not. I don't need no Hemi. I don't. I love that truck. I don't need it. So listen, if y'all haven't heard me talk about that truck before, that is really what I like. And I'm gonna give y'all this. I be happy when I drive that truck. I do. Yeah. If Mr. Boss be like, can I have my truck back? I'd be like, not today. I give it to you tomorrow. I mean, really, I could jump in his truck and be just as happy, I guess, as I need to be, y'all. I really could. So when we talk about all this happiness and I'm not feeling good and I'm gonna leave my husband because I'm not happy, what exactly is happening at this moment? What's not going on? You know what's not going on is I'm being silly, I'm being immature, and I'm not on my purpose, and I have no relationship with my creator. None. Because material things is not what we should find in a man or a woman. We shouldn't find happiness in that. We got to find happiness within ourselves. We got to be content with who we are. And if we ugly on the outside, and when we look in the mirror, we don't like who we are. If we overweight, if we just despise who we are as people, we don't like how we respond. If we talk too much, if we cuss too much, whatever the situation is, we have to go to God and fix it for ourselves or within him. He's going to fix us, but we have to take it to him. That's true happiness. But it's actually contentment and fulfillment within yourself. Then you can go out and be a positive person. You ain't got to be negative. You ain't got to, ladies, we ain't got to be out here cussing people out and being aggressive like they always say that Black women are. You don't have to do that. If you find contentment and joy within yourself, that's all you need. But Black man, before you say something, let me do these super chats. I think I can see them. One pursuit. Thank you, Dr. Steele, for your $10 super chat. One pursues happiness as an individual. Aha! Once that happiness is realized, if one gets in relationships, the other person can either expand or interfere with it. You know something, Dr. Steele? I kind of believe you said something like this before a while back. So you are exactly right. You're exactly right. And this is how you find happiness, or this is where you are satisfied and content. That's how it has to be done, y'all. So when you ask a question to a woman that's been married for 28 years this year, you tell me people are unhappy with their marriage. I'm like, you joking, right? What are we actually talking about? No. Okay. So happiness is tied to what they can get. Oh, yeah, I believe you. It is tied straight to material things. Again, AL, thank you for your $5 super chat. Do people really understand the purpose of the institution of marriage, or are they just doing it because that's what they are told to do next in life? You know what? Some people, it all depends on your belief system, AL. For me, it was a normal, evolution for me. It actually was. I knew that I was going to be married, but it wasn't going to keep me from, whatever I needed to do as far as to make money. The two never went together for me, meaning that I was going to be somebody's wife. Okay. I was, because it just came naturally for me. So if that's what you want to call it, but I also knew the purpose of being a wife. Now, remember, if you call the story I told you the first time I heard it, I was like, I'm just a wife. It wasn't enough for me. I needed to hear it a second time before I got the whole picture of being a wife and how important it is. And I do think that is the problem. A lot of times women don't realize as wives how important we are. Now, I'm going to talk to you about that because I've been hearing some things and I can understand why women don't get their value in marriage sometimes. But let me read this super chat. No, it's not a super chat. Let me read this comment. Old crusty, extra salty Uncle Rico. Why can we not talk about the ills of religion? You can definitely talk about the ills of religion. I'm talking about God, the creator, though, but we could talk about the ills of religion if you like the scandals of SBC or the Catholic Church. If happiness is about religion, why not speak on the fault, the failings? Look, I didn't say anything about religion. But you could talk about religion if you like. See, this is what gets so confusing. People are so confused about the way I speak. I said God, your creator. And the reason why I said God, your creator, because I happen to think if you don't build a relationship with God, the creator, and understand what love is through God, you're not going to even be able to be successful in a religion because you don't have the power to do so. You're going to just be learning and regurgitating scriptures and thinking that you know exactly what you're talking about. But when you don't understand the mode, I'm calling it the mode, or the energy that God had when he actually translated this to these disciples, then you won't even know. You'll be cutting up people with scriptures just like I said I would. So that's why I always go back to the creator. You got to understand and know the creator, because there are a lot of people out there that are not even giving God the credit for the heaven and the earth, for breathing. You know, they don't even understand, you know. So let's go back to the beginning and get it. Build the relationship, because guess what? God can use you and you not know anything about religion. That's what's most important. I need somebody to understand that. God is everything, y'all. He don't need permission to use you or me. There's no permission. What?
It also goes to going back to what old crusty extra salty Uncle Rico said. You know, there's good and bad in everything, and I think sometimes we find ourselves trying to find something wrong when there should be something wrong, right? If you were to come in, if I were to sit here and preach, hey, old crusty extra salty Uncle Rico, you know, God is good all the time. There is nothing bad in the Bible. There is nothing, no points in the Bible that make us feel kind of some type of way. We're looking at religion as it's supposed to be a perfect thing. The reason that it's not perfect is because we're imperfect. We're imperfect beings. We're human. We lie. We sometimes, most people are deceitful. Most people are cheaters. Most people, all that. Even if you go to the 66 books of the Bible, you will see adultery. You'll also see David and the story of David and Bathsheba. You'll see Samson and Delilah. You'll see Saul on the road to Damascus and transforms into Paul, who becomes a saint. You'll see all these different stories in the Bible, in the books, that let you know that there is no perfect. But the thing I love about it, though, is that God uses crooked men to make straight lines. And I think that it's a beautiful thing to see someone who they were and how they live, and now they're living for the relationship. A lot of people say religion. Religion is something that's organized, that comes together and does one thing. But a relationship with God is what we need to focus on the most. And I'll land my plane there.
So, oh, Krusty, no, it can't. It should not be ignored. It definitely should be exposed. But this is what I'm talking about. If these people had a better relationship with God, what they did wouldn't have happened. That's why I'm trying to tell you, we can't focus on religion. Religion,
Exactly.
listen, I'm not telling you, religion is a way of life. It's the way you conduct yourself. It's the way you move daily. It's what we do. There's I don't know how many religions. I think they said what 20,000, 20 million. I'm not even sure. But that's how you actually worship, supposedly, and that's how you live. That's the way that you live. It's so important that you understand that God created this thing, and you have to have the heart of God and have a relationship with him in order to fulfill that walk. The Bible is a way of living.
And also we need to have discernment. I think that when he said that, so the hurt inflicted by the SBC leaders upon the flock in God's name, yes, they did it in God's name, but it was not God at all. And most people, we know most people will use anything to do something. And I mean, most people say let me give an example that's more earthly. There's been many people who have gone to prison for impersonating a police officer. Once there was a police officer who dressed like a police officer, had flashing lights like a police officer, got in the car, and he would go on roads late at night and stop women and assault them. And he did that in the name of authority. But he did that under the name of police. But was he police? No, he wasn't. These people did that under the name of God, but they're not godly. And that's nothing about what they did was godly. And we can't leave out the fact that these people were hurt. Yes, I pray for those people. I pray for their healing. Those men who did this, men or women that did this to them, were awful people. They did it in the name of God, but it was not of God. And so I'll put it to you like that, Rico. I just wanted to to do that, to say that.
And Krusty too. Rico, I'm sorry. Whatever you want to go by, it's a lot. But I don't know if you're looking for some sort of vengeance. I mean, what is, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it, but
Right.
it's simple. They sinned. It's a simple thing. They sinned. They did something that was wrong. There's nothing more to say about it. I don't know what, they fell away from Christ. They wouldn't, as simple as that. There was sin and they can't avenge themselves. I mean, who can do that?
Right.
I mean, and they did that because for whatever reason, they were not following God's, you said the Catholic Church tenets or what have you, or
Yeah.
whatever Bible or whatever religion they were actually following. They were falling away from it. They were acting out of flesh for whatever reason. This is a daily walk. This is not something, if your flesh gets involved, you will definitely fall off. You will mess up. Should they be prosecuted for their wrongs doing? Absolutely. Absolutely, they should. But what does that have to do with their creator? He's given us instruction. He even gave us Jesus in order, to fulfill that. But he didn't say forget about the law. He never said that. I do know some people want to say it begins with Jesus, but he came to fulfill, not to forget about, y'all. Come on. But I'm not going to get into that because I got into that. You remember Black Bear? We got into that one night. Some people want to throw the Old Testament away like, hey, they ain't no good no more, and just want to do whatever they want to do because Jesus died for our sins. And that's like, come on, you still are accountable or should be accountable for what you do.
Right.
It's still. Go ahead.
And even, I'll put this out there. We have different. I agree with what you're saying about the Catholic Church, how they hide those people who assault those people, which is crazy, right? So they do something in America, they'll send them right across the water and protect them, and that is not right. And I disagree also with some of the things that the Catholic Church has done by adopting certain things. Lupercalia is one of them. Lupercalia, the day of that, where they turned the name Lupercalia into Valentine's Day. However, yeah, that was a time where they took innocent virgin girls and beat them and burned their tongues and made them marry older men when they were 13 years old. I mean, it's all kind of different stuff that church adopted. That's not in the name of God. Well, they did it under the name of God, but that is not of God at all. And I think evil people will use anything. That's what I said Friday. The enemy can make things look so good to you. He can make things look so great to you. That's why I say he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. If I can take a Christian and turn him and make him do things to children, make him do things to adults, assault people, I can turn people away from God because he's doing it in the name of God.
But you know what? We can't use people in their sinful nature for our measuring stick because our relationships are our relationships. If you have a relationship with Christ, God, then you need to build upon that relationship and be the best person that you can be. Mm-hmm. That's what your job is. You can't look at other people and be like, oh, they're so sinful. They did that. So I'm not going to be a part of it because your relationship is totally separate. You could be the example. I do know that those people probably were in a position where people trusted them or what have you. But so often we use other people as measuring sticks and say, oh, we're not going to be a part of it because they messed up. Don't do that. You be better. Be better than them. You make your walk, and your relationship with God, and allow him to use you and be an example. And then what happens to them, let it, you're not going to really know. You really won't know what happened to them. They may go to prison or what have you, but internally or, you're not going to know what happens. You're not. So I had a super chat I was supposed to read, but I don't know what happened, Mr. Boss. Do you see it, Black Man? Go ahead and read that for me because it's gone from my side.
You must understand the purpose of anything you do in life, especially when it's a lifetime commitment that guides your discernment and performance. He's absolutely right. Thank you for the $5 super chat.
Thank you, AL.
Yeah, AL, thank you. Appreciate that. You're absolutely, I agree with that. I think that people's discernment, I think people ignore their discernment though. I think that's a whole nother conversation. I think you'll hear something tell you don't. But out of flesh says yes, right? There's a battle. You battle yourself. You battle your body. You battle your needs and want to do something. And God will whisper to you, no, and you'll still do it. And then as soon as the consequences come, God is your fault.
So
God, you're the reason I'm hurt. You're the
so
reason. It's you.
I'm sorry, black man. So
No,
listen,
no.
let's see this. Like, okay, Blue Universe. Hey, Ricky,
Ricky, what's going on, boy?
Lady Navoa, how y'all doing? So listen, let's go back to this because we're talking about happiness within marriage, right? We often say that, well, some people say we lying when we say that we're happy in marriage, right? In marriage, right? So I'm trying to figure out how could my spouse actually make, what am I lacking? If I'm not happy in my marriage, what am I lacking? Am I lacking sex? Am I lacking material things? Have I made something else my God? What have I done to say, oh, I'm unhappy in this marriage? What is that other person doing to me? I mean, well, let me just make sure I clear this up. If somebody is abusing you, then that would make an unhappy situation. But I don't even know if I would call that unhappy. I think I would call that abusive. And we need to do some things about that. That's totally different. I think when we say unhappy, we're just talking about being pleased within a relationship. So I'm asking you, black man, and you're not saying this, you said you were happy. But what do you think in a relationship, a marriage relationship, would people say they're unhappy about?
Most people are unhappy about the changes in their in their spouse. Let me give you an example. When you first got together, you were humble, you were on point, you were a good wife for your husband, you were everything. And then you start working or not working, being around some people who became influential. You start changing the way you dress, you start changing the way you talk, you start to carry yourself differently. And now your husband, it's just an example. Your husband will say, "Hey, baby, no, whoa, wait. Where are you going in that short skirt?
Mm.
Baby, whoa, baby, you're not cooking no more. Babe, why are you talking to me like that? Why is your verbiage different? Like, why are you talking at me? Why we can't sit down and have a conversation like we used to do, right? Evolution creates uncontrolled evolution creates that chaos and creates people to say they're not happy. Now women get on the phone with their homegirl and be like, "Girl, he get on my nerves. He always talking about what I'm wearing, talking about my dress too short." Instead of her realizing this man is covering me.
Right.
There's no reason for me to be outside in a skirt and with my breast out. And which a man's gonna do, he gonna do anyway, regardless of what a woman's wearing. That does not just because what a woman wears does not justify a man assaulting a woman. What I'm saying is that the man, you don't want your wife to get that kind of attention from men who want her not to assault her, but want her. Period. Right? Your woman walk into a club with her friends, and she got a short skirt on her breast out, and she's sexy and built real nice. She's gonna get a lot of attention from men. And
So
a man, go ahead.
no.
And
Oh, I just wanted to read this from Bolo really quick. He said, Scripture reminds us that true happiness comes from the faith and love for God, saying, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Absolutely. I mean, we said that. That's the only way I think that you can actually come up with contentment, happiness, or whatever you all want to call it. Because I just saw Easy Money said it could be simple as your underwear being on the floor. Are you serious? We're gonna totally go from happy to unhappy because our wives or man's drawers are on the floor. Really?
absolutely, security about absolutely. Let me catch you up.
Unhappy?
There
Unhappy
are women
with the marriage because the drawers are on the floor?
There are women, security boss, who say, "I'm unhappy. I can't do this no more. It's just I'm getting to the end of my rope. Every day I get up, I got, whoa!" And like he get up, he left his underwear on the floor, his socks out. I don't want to do. I'm tired. I don't want to do this no more. He getting on my last nerve. I don't want to deal with this no more.
That's
Right?
requiring a conversation. You know what? Then what you're saying is that a whole lot of people that are married should not be married. They have no idea what it's about. Marriage is, we talked about this, it's a covenant. It's a promise to do certain things. Your drawers and your socks have nothing to do with my contentment. It has nothing to do with how I feel myself. I should be happy within myself. If I don't want to pick up your socks, I'll leave them there.
But security boss, like you said, I say this so often, but I need to say it again. So many relationships can be healed and go toward a place of healing and restoration if there was a conversation.
Yes, I agree.
Baby, baby, listen. Just sit there and just listen. Men, just listen to your wife, see what she's got to say. Hey, baby, I don't like, this and this and this is upsets me. I have a concern with this and this and that. And you know what, baby? How can I be more helpful? Or on the other way around, the wife comes to the husband. How can I be more helpful? How can I get you to that point where we get back to the joyous occasions of me and you enjoying each other? Right? And have the conversation with so many people in divorce court because they refuse to have the conversation.
Trey, it is sometimes good to go through marriage counseling before getting married because it does bring up things that you may not think about as a dating couple. But I'm going back to Easy Money because Easy Money said it shows up as disrespect when you're not considerate of your spouse. I even see what you're saying then too, but that still should not interrupt my happiness, my contentment, me being satisfied as a woman. Me saying I'm gonna leave my husband because he draws in underwear, and he should never ever allow it to get to a place where I'm feeling that he's being inconsiderate and disrespectful by leaving his underwear and socks in the middle of the floor. You have to understand and know who you marry. I mean, I'm just almost sure that this man just didn't start on day 30 leaving his drawers and underwear in the floor. I'm almost sure that he probably
some more water.
Yeah, he probably almost did it before. He probably almost did it the whole time. And that's just how it goes. But I understand what you all are saying, but that should not interrupt your happiness or your joy. You can't, because a man, your husband is so much more valuable than his socks and his underwear being in the floor. That's what we need to get ladies to see. That's what we need. And then I was telling you a little bit ago, Black Man, that I've been hearing a lot of things in these panels, and I don't know if I should hang my hat on it or anything, but I can understand why women may be feeling devalued. I'm talking about women that are married, because a lot of times my husband would tell you the fact that I'm like right there, I'm like, on it, whatever he needs, he doesn't have to ask for it. And I think Jonathan actually told a story about this the other day about Cam, putting shampoo in the shampoo bottle and he not having to think about it. Me going to get his medicines and he not having to call it in. Me knowing exactly what he needs before he needs it. That is very valuable to my husband, to men. I'm gonna say men in general. That's very, very valuable to them. But men that are single don't see that as value because it hasn't happened to them in their lives. So a lot of times a woman that is married, or the fact of getting married, that part of the marriage is very much devalued. Your woman's worth or value is not there because they say, well, I can get DoorDash to bring me the medicine, or I can go buy some more shampoo or what have you, but you're missing it. That woman is becoming one with you. She's knowing your needs. She's actually helping you complete your day, and she's preserving you. She's preserving your life because you don't have to think about all these things. You just have to do and be the man and be the best man you need to be to lead this house. You don't have to think about these little things. It's so many things. Mr. Boss don't have to think about bills. He doesn't have to think about that. He doesn't have to think about, like I said, medicines. He doesn't have to think about, oh my God. Oh, y'all, it's just so many things that what he gonna eat, how he gonna eat. Is so many things he doesn't have to think about as my husband, because I'm thinking about it for him. And he'd be like, oh, babe, I thought this. And, even with our business scheduling, ads or billing and things like that, I'm like, babe, got to bill. Otherwise my husband might not think about it because he's doing a million other things. It's like today he had to go shoot. If I would have just sit back and be like, allow him to think about, oh, it's time for me to go qualify, he would have missed it completely. I said, baby, got to go shoot. So we registered him, and now he's shot. He got his, registered, and he's good. But I'm saying just those little things where I show up to be that calendar, that calculator, that whatever you want to call me, I'm there for him. And I know for a fact that is very valuable to him, because otherwise he would miss a lot of deadlines. A lot of things wouldn't get done for him. So that carries a lot of value. And I just wanted y'all need to know that carries a lot of value. And I just know that I've heard people say, when men making money or what have you, the fact that she deserves 50% after 10 years or whatever the length of time is being a housewife is not very valuable, or being, and it's a lie. I do a lot. I mean, it may not be physical strength, but I'm thinking of, he tells me right now, what do you call me with my brain? Oh, babe, you can remember everything. He says it right now every day. You remember everything. So let me read this super chat. So it is women ladies, you are very valuable as a wife. You have a purpose. When God said helpmate, he meant that thing. He really did. Hey, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. People won't have happiness because they don't know the purpose for the institution. Okay. So you saying they're thinking once they get married, they're gonna automatically be happy. So they think marriage is gonna bring them happiness. Now, marriage
Exactly.
does make you a better person, but you got to come happy. Because what I'll talk to you about it in a minute. They did it to check off the list. Now they're guided by what feels good. Oh, I see. We gotta talk about that, black man. I never thought of it
Exactly.
that way. AL, thank you again for your $2 super chat. We'll be alone with a clean house. Good luck. Listen, that's what you say. I don't know, AL. I can get you a good one. Love see. My mentor told me I woke up a wife and went to sleep a widow. Okay. I'll give anything to see the hair I complained about in the sink. Seek the silver lining. Oh, love see, that is wonderful. Did they? Oh God. Listen, it's the things. What I'm saying. I don't know how that would deter me from being happy that my husband left his socks. Now I might be like, I clean this house, pick up these socks, but my happiness or my inner peace that I have, that I know God gives me, my contentment, my joy, that is not going to take my joy away. Yeah, we got to work on this. We got to work on this because I'm going now. I have another thing to think about because AL just told me people actually may be getting married because they think it's going to bring them some sort of happiness, not knowing that being married, that is a purpose for a woman. If a woman says I do, I say this often. If a woman says I do, she's saying I do to be the purpose of a helpmate for her husband. That means whatever that man needs and asks for legally, y'all. We can actually ride the line on that because there may be some illegal things you have to do. But I ain't gonna push that. But that woman is agreeing to be her husband's helpmate. She's actually saying, I'm gonna put my husband's needs first and foremost because he got me. Can y'all see that? My husband got me, and God got us both. Can we actually agree on that? Black man, can we agree on that? I can't hear you.
Said again. I'm sorry. My audio tickling again. But go ahead.
I forgot. No, I was gonna say, no, I said that when a woman gets married, she has to agree to be a helpmate. That's her purpose. That's her first purpose. We're gonna help him. So that
Mhm.
means putting him first. He's
Right.
putting us first. He's covering us, and God got us both. Would you agree?
I agree. I think that when you have that order, to everybody out there, I'll say this: I have a challenge for you guys. We do the milk crate challenge. We do the ice bucket challenge. I got a challenge for you for 30 days. If you're married, for 30 days, um, I want you to be in your position. I want you to uplift your husband. I want you to inspire your husband. I want you to, first of all, before you do any of that, I want you to surrender to God and go to God and say, I surrender to you. And I want you to order my steps in my marriage for 30 days. And don't say nothing to your husband. Let your husband lead. Allow him to pass down what he needs to you. You pass down what you need to do to the children. Do it for 30 days and come back and tell us how your marriage was healed, because that's what's going to happen. It'll go
Black
to
man,
healing.
this don't put no time span on this. Just ask the will be done and let it go, and we can report back in 30 days, but not
Absolutely.
before 30 days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Change the word. Change the verbiage, guys. Change the verbiage.
Yeah, no, let's stay engaged. But I was going to read something that I think AL said. I think it was AL. I'm not sure, but was it AL? Jojo. It was Jojo. Jojo, how you doing, sir? And I believe this, Jojo. This is women listen to guys that are not husbands and end up losing how valuable they are. This is so true. This is very, very true. Black men, this is a problem here in this space. This is a problem here in this space. They're listening to men that are not that haven't been married before. And I have come to the conclusions that a single person does not have any experience or know anything about being a married person. I hate to
Yeah.
say this, guys. Now, I'm not saying that y'all can't talk about it. You could definitely talk about it, but it needs to be more from of a place of how does this work, or what do you think about this, or what, like that, because it's a different mindset. I always speak to women, and I tell you guys all the time, ladies, that a single mindset in a woman is totally different from a marriage mindset going into that marriage. So it's just got to be the same for a man, because the things that I just noticed on a panel the other day, it was just such a different. The married men were like, no, no, it's not like that. When you get married, it's totally different. You know, you have a promise and a commitment that you make to your wife. And a single man has no promise and no commitment that he's made for someone. He hasn't even thought about that. He hasn't walked that out. You know what I'm saying? He might have walked it out if he's been in a serious relationship for some time, but generally that's not the case. So for a single man to understand the things of marriage just automatically, then they're not going to understand it unless they've researched it or have an outstanding relationship with their creator and is looking to be a husband. Then they won't know. So
absolutely,
very important.
Yeah, because I'm looking in the chat. There's some good work going on over in the chat. So shout out to everybody in the chat, keeping it going tonight. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, please, if you haven't already, and share this content with everybody you know. So Trey said, can some married people talk about some of the things that are pleasurable about marriage? Some things that make you happy about being married. You want to go first, kid? Why do you want me to go?
Okay, so Trey, this is hard for me because I feel like, and I could be wrong. I have to ask Mr. Boss. I feel like I'm kind of like not changing. I feel like I am very balanced and very much the same. Now, when I got this, how long I've been this way, I can't tell you. Because I just nothing really. If you're looking for, let me say this: when people say happiness, I think excitement. I think, thank you. I'm not that person. I'm very content. I'm very optimistic. I have joy. I'm very positive. I can speak life into anybody and everybody. I don't know strangers. I'm smiling constantly, which was what I would contribute to the life that I live with my husband. But when you say happiness, I just can't. I'm never changing. I'm good. I'm content and I'm satisfied. So I don't know, Trey, if you want me to tie it down to one event, I can't. The only thing I can tie it down to is my relationship with God. That's the only thing I can turn. And I'm a follower of Christ. That's the only thing I can contribute it to because I have developed an understanding of what's important. And God has given me a lot of wisdom. It's just certain things I can just see. I'm a witness to a lot of things. So I understand things. So it's just going to be different. And I realize now that not everybody can see the things that I see. So I don't know, Trey, I can't give you an event. My husband makes me happy. And, let me give you one thing. The fact that I know that my husband comes home every night and he's here with me. He's not out cheating. He's not looking at porn and he's not doing any of that crazy stuff. I suppose that would make me happy, but this is actually my life. This is who he's been the whole time I've been married to him. So am I taking him for granted? No, I'm not. I'm saying thank you, but we are followers of Christ and this is how it should be. We're building up on that. Just for me, the same way, but if he buys me something, I'm like, thanks, babe. Like I said to y'all coming in, he buys me stuff or we get stuff all the time. It's nothing for him to go buy me a pair of diamond earrings or some very expensive perfume because he know I love perfume and I love accessories, perfume and watches and stuff. He knows that. So it's nothing for him to go treat me to something like that. It's nothing for him to go buy something, some electronic piece. So he'd be like, babe, what you think about? Go ahead, babe. It's not, we just been around each other for so long. We're not restrictive in things or in material. So Trey, I don't know. I hope I answered that question.
Right. He said he came back with a response. He said, I didn't ask for an event.
Okay.
What is pleasurable about your marriage?
Okay. I think what is pleasurable about everything about my marriage is pretty pleasurable because I'm pretty constant. Like, okay, what's pleasurable? I'll say it again. It's what brings my husband home every night. I don't have a fear or I don't think about my husband out there cheating on me. My relationship with my husband is very pleasurable. Now, that don't mean we don't argue now. That don't mean we don't have disagreements, but my relationship with him is very pleasurable. I just wouldn't. I don't think I would have it any other way. I wouldn't want some man that hangs out with a bunch of guys on Friday night and smokes cigars. That's not my husband. So I would say my relationship with my husband is very pleasurable.
Yeah, I think Easy said, I think he's translating for Trey. He said he's saying we need more content creators that give the benefits of being married, but not in a superficial way. I think I'll say what's pleasurable in my marriage, being able to wake up every day, knowing that I'm able to love, touch, smell, hug, make laugh, you know, being able to get up in the morning and know why I'm getting up in the morning. It's pleasurable to get up and put your clothes on and leave out that door and get in your car and drive because you know you're going to do what you have to do for your wife or your significant other. Being able to kiss them juicy yellow lips of hers before I leave in the
What your
morning.
wife's whip? Wait a minute.
And also doing it when I get back home. Hey, when I come through the door, what's pleasurable is to see my wife say, "Hey, baby, how was your day?" Right? And then, you know, and sometimes I'll tease my wife because I'll walk past her and she'll say, "Are you finna? Oh, so you had that kind of day? You can't come over here and give me a hug and a kiss today?" Right? It's pleasurable to be able to sit down and prepare for the sandy beaches when we go on our anniversary trip, and it's pleasurable to stop by on the way home. To stop by Tiff's Treats because my wife loves Tiff's Treats. Stop by Tiff's Treats on just a random day, just because day, and just stop and get her something and bring her home just to see the smile on her face. It's just pleasurable to see her smile. So yeah, that's what's pleasurable for me.
Let me give you one more too. I just thought about it. Me and Mr. Boss laugh at each other. We laugh like all the time. It's like, and he giggles like we get to laughing, and
Right.
we'll be like, you know, y'all don't even understand. We laugh, and I think that is very pleasurable. He always, I'm the one that like make you laugh. Y'all don't know that, but I make you laugh. I make him laugh all the time, and he be like, he just laughs, and that is very pleasurable to me. But Trey, when I'm thinking about this and I'm sharing this with you, that's my life. That's like my everyday. So it's hard for me to find something to say, but I don't really realize that I'm extreme, and I'm calling it extreme until I get here. Because me and Mr. Boss are in an active in a active relationship. We're in an active relationship. There are no times that my husband just say, "Hey, I'm going out of town with the guys."
Right.
We don't have that. There's no time when I say I'm just going out with the girls. We don't do that. Now we might go out with the family, but normally if we do something like that, it's all of us, everybody. Mr. Boss paying, so it's different.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I don't worry about him. I think T-Shaw said it best. The piece of my relationship is what is pleasurable. I hear men cheating and are good with it. I hear men talking about porn. Can I say porn? Yeah, porn stuff, and they're okay with it. I don't have to. I have a peace in my relationship, so it's just, I guess, maybe take it for granted because I've been living this way for so long. But that's what's pleasurable to me.
Right, and also just last thing, and I'll be done with it. Just also just being able to hear a lot of women in my wife's family, to hear them say, you know, years ago when I was dating her, to when I was going around those people, listen to them say, "Oh, girl, we don't need no man. Girl, we won't be tied to no man. Girl, you gonna get married. We don't need to be married." And to go around those women now who are 14, it's 14 years later, and they're older. A few of them lost a lot. A few of them gained a lot of negative things in their life. They look real old and worn out. And I walk around with my wife, holding my wife's hand. You know, I love you, baby. And we walk and we be around them. And, you know, when my wife, I'm sitting down at the table and my wife come over and bring me my plate and say, "Baby, is there anything else that you need?" And I'm looking over at her family members like, I know 14 years ago, y'all told my wife that we were about to get married. Y'all told her,
You
right?
crazy.
Don't tie yourself to no man. But look at y'all now. No, didn't have babies. No, we got a few more baby daddies in the system. I'm telling you. Hey, I'm happy. Hey, that's pleasurable right there, Trey. That's what I'm talking about.
It's very pleasurable. But Trey, I'm glad you asked that question because that's a standard of marriage. I think that's a standard of being married. Are you willing to do that? Because Mr. Boss has totally sold himself out for me. You know, he has one best friend, but he's totally sold himself out for me, and that's kind of like my best friend. His best friend is kind of like my brother. I'm sorry, his best friend is kind of like my brother. And he, you know, I just know he's there for me. You know what I mean? That's the most pleasurable thing. We have a very good relationship, but we build up on that. And Trey, it is not easy, I don't think, to accomplish that. But the thing is, I don't hear people speaking like this today. You know, in today's relationships and marriage, people going into them, it's almost like it's okay to hang out with the guys and have this cigar night. It's like expected. I need to do this. And I'm thinking, why can't you be one with your woman? Why can't she be the woman, the go-to Friday night date night? And as far as the woman goes, why can't your man be the Friday night date night? Why you got to go hang? What is it you doing with the girls? Let me tell you something, y'all. I forego the girls way long, probably before I got married, because it just doesn't make sense. I have a man that's willing to love on me, treat me to whatever I want, show me a good time. What am I going out with the ladies for? What can they give me that my husband can't? So you just have to change your focus. But that is definitely, Trey, what is pleasurable. I hope, and we got Reckless in here. Marriage is a business. No, it ain't. Not over here. Reckless, how you doing, sir? But over here, marriage is not a business. Marriage is a covenant that has business aspects. Of course, there's a business part of your marriage, but marriage is a covenant. It is an agreement, far as, and I'm using the word agreement, but the agreement and the promises that come within marriage, the commitment is to God, and God is the center and the head, the beginning of that relationship, and it's a covenant to Him. And we don't want to disappoint. Businesses fall apart all the time. They really, really do. Yeah, they really, really do. Hey, boss lady Iris, how are you? I hadn't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Like, man, you remember Miss Iris?
Yeah, I do.
She was the one that had that sister cousin, that dual relationship going on. Not her, but in her family, right?
In her family, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So yeah, what did Reckless say? I didn't see it. It went away real quick. Huh?
In the advent of a divorce, I'll have 5 million. I have 0 million right now.
Okay. Okay. See, the whole key to this thing, when you have a covenant marriage, your divorce is not your thought process. You're making sure that you go ahead, black man.
No, I was going to say, and also keep in mind out there, for the people who wanted to hear this question, and thank you guys for saying they said our answers were great answers. Thank you for our answers. So I will say this though, also, you also have to be mindful, man, when those women in your family see that kind of love you giving your wife, and they know they didn't hit the wall backwards and knock the whole back of their head off, they start giving you the side eye. Oh, listen to me. We gotta tell you. See, that's the thing that we don't understand. They'll give you the side eye. Oh, okay, girl. Y'all see y'all. Mm-hmm. Right? They'll start giving you the side eye because they've hit the wall and they want what you have. That's a whole nother conversation, though.
But listen, Sin 7 says, I don't see it. Being isolated from the world is a trait of abusive relationship. Who said anything about being isolated from the world? Oh my. Why would you be isolated from the world?
You isolate yourself from the things that you're no longer a part of. So if I'm used to going out to strip clubs with my homeboys and we going out to see some boobies and some booty,
you need to keep doing that.
and we going out Friday nights, and every Friday and Saturday when I get married, some things have to change. I can't continue to go see boobies and booties when I just married the boobies and booties I want for the rest of my life. I can't do that anymore. I have to change what I do. Now, if I do something, if I want to go somewhere with the fellas and they say, hey, we're going to have an event where we go and do golf, or we going to do something else, go to a game or something, absolutely, I'll go and watch a football game or something. But some things you just have to, but the Bible says leave. Oh, transition. You better not steal me. Transition already up way ahead of me. It says for you to get married and leave your family. Leave.
And what does it say after that? It says do what with your husband?
And cleave.
What does cleave mean? Look it up.
Means,
but listen,
yeah.
I'm finna entertain all these single women. I'm gonna start with Miss Anissa. Miss Anissa say it shouldn't be nothing wrong. Let me read that. SV, it's okay to be with your girl or guy friend sometimes. You see what I'm saying? These are the single women. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you something. It is definitely okay to be with your married girlfriends. It definitely is. A single woman has nothing to offer a married woman. And if she does, you need to stay single because you all think different. And if you're not thinking different, that is an issue. You have to think married. Married women's interests are totally different than a single woman. Now, let me go back up here to Sin. Now, you may not know this, Anissa, because you're not married. And it may be something that comes along with your marriage, being married, that you have that mindset. But,
you
You listen, your single girlfriend might have to try to sit on your husband's lap a couple times before you get the real deal. Um, Sin says female friendship should strengthen your relationship by being supportive and sounding board. Sounding board about. This is Sin 7. I'm not gonna take for granted because I don't know who you are. Let me know also if you are married or single. But let me tell you something. The best person that you can communicate with about a problem that you're having with them is the problem that you having the man that you're having a problem with. You don't ever take your business outside your household and tell your girlfriend, what are you doing?
Dearly beloved.
Is that what she's trying to say? Sounding board. Sounding board means to me sounds like complaining. So if I'm complaining, I'm bringing it to my girlfriend. What? Black man, tell her the story about the hairdresser, please.
I just have in my head. Hey, listen, security boss, we're starting to bond a little bit here. So listen, I'll be real quick with it. Real quick, right there. I used to sing in this group. Oh my God, we used to kill everywhere we went, right? And there was this girl in the group, and she was married to the guy that played the keys. And they were married for 18 years? The hairdresser also was a singer in the group. Now listen to this. She would go to the singer. This is what she came and told my wife. Hey, I can't believe this. I would go to her and tell her my husband wanted to try new sexual positions. He wanted to do this. He wanted to do that. I wouldn't do it because I don't want to do that. I don't think all that's necessary. And guess who? The husband they get up getting a divorce. And about a year and a half later, he married the hairdresser.
Absolutely. She was doing all them tricks too. You know she was doing them. You know what? She went in there doing them tricks to turn him out because she knew what he liked because the other woman told her all about it. So Sin 7. I'm telling you something. I'm a married woman. There's some things you should not do. Please let me know if you're married or not. If you are married and this hasn't caused you any issue, I bless you and I'm glad that you haven't had any. But if you're not married and you're thinking about being married, don't ever tell your girlfriends about something that is going on in your marital home, especially in your marital bed. Please don't do that. Please don't. You don't ever go to baby or bridal showers, family. I would go to family. And remember now, if a woman is single, I'm not celebrating her baby shower. You already know that. I haven't been to any wedding showers, but if I did go, my husband would go along with me because it always says +1. I'm not taking my girlfriend.
And you know what, Anissa, I have something to tell you.
But wait a minute before you tell that, because I just thought about something. Anissa, I have went on a conference with married women to a church conference with married women. I have done that. And guess what? I had a terrible time. They were looking at me like I was crazy by the end of the night because I wasn't agreeing with them. I wasn't agreeing with them at all. So that was my last time doing that, but it's all good. So it confirmed what I already knew. It confirmed. But listen, I'm not saying that you can't have no friends. I'm not saying cut them off. I'm just telling you, hanging out with them is not the thing to do, and telling them your problem, letting them be your sounding board instead of your man. Who does that, y'all? Sin 7. Why would you think that would be the thing to do? That's your whole man. He's supposed to be the closest thing to you. He is the person that you are allowing inside of your body, mind, and spirit. Why would you need to go to somebody else and tell somebody else anything? Man, I don't get it. I am so confused about this. Oh, Anissa, SB, I have a great group of friends. Yeah, you're single right there with them. Go ahead. Of friends. Some have been married 30 years and we all still get together and do things. And it's never been a problem for them or me. Listen, I'm saying do what you do. It may have not been a problem. I'm just telling you, it just doesn't work for me. I'm just telling you what's the strongest, what helps with Mr. Boss and what works with me. As long as you're not bringing any of those influences home, I guess it wouldn't work. But if you want to be influenced by something, make sure you be influenced by the best influence possible. And what that is God's blueprint. So if you've been married, if you've been going out with some women for 30 years, been married for 30 years, and they telling you, don't put your money in the pot with that man. You'd better know, look, don't let that right hand know what your left hand doing, all that kind of stuff, Anissa. If they saying that kind of stuff with you, that is not a good message, whether you listening to it or not. You need to check what you're hearing. You need, because I just already, I don't know your friends. If they're good friends, Anissa, and once you get a husband, your husband don't care, then hey, do what you do. But if you're going out with women and they've been married 30 years and them and their husband have only been married for 30 years but not in a good relationship, that too is something that you don't want to invest your time in. I hope you understand what I mean. But again, you gotta do it.
Right. And you know what? I'll be transparent here for a second. I have a family reunion coming up July, the 6th through the 9th. And my uncles, the ones who are older now, who are not married, but have plethora of children, said to me, "Hey, Wayne," right? That's what they call me, Wayne Jesus. "Hey, Wayne, man, we coming down to Dallas, baby." Right? They're in Seattle, some in Louisiana. Man, we get there, boy. You already know it, man. I already tell the wife, maybe we getting out in these streets. I said, "The hell no, we ain't. I'm not going to no strip club with you. I'm not going out paying for no hoes. I'm not doing none of that y'all want to do. I ain't doing it." And because that's all they want to do. All of them, I already know what they want to do. And I told my brother, who is married, my brother say, "Man, you know they're going to push us to go." I said, "You're not going either." Because now I'm holding my brother accountable. You have a wife and you have 2 children. Your ass ain't going either. And you're going to be right here. You can come over to the house with me. And you want to come over to the house with me, you can come over to the house with me. But we're not going nowhere with them other than the barbecue on Saturday, the banquet on Friday, the meet and greet on Thursday, and church Sunday morning. That's what we're going to do. Anything outside of that, we're not doing it. We're not. I'm not gonna do that because I won't want my wife to have a family reunion and her girlfriends and her cousins come over to my girl. We about to go out and get drunk. We about to get lit. Hell no, because if my wife get drunk, which boy I would be livid. But if my wife were to do something like that, my wife is no longer covered. She doesn't even have the ability to protect herself from anything stupid.
And also, it's coming from an influence of somebody else if that ain't what she regularly does.
Yeah.
But listen, Sin says, "I never said I was giving details of my sex life. And I hope I didn't say you were. I thought, please don't. I'm saying, please don't. But the other part of that is I'm referring to platonic friendships where we discuss jobs, kids, and etc." Well, you made it seem like it was much deeper than that. You said supportive, you used the word supportive, and you said sounding board. So I thought it was a really, really good friend. So whatever you do, listen, Sin, I'm just telling you, be careful. Hey, Shoo, what's going on? So listen, Sin, you can do whatever it is you think is best for you. I'm just telling you that I would prefer any woman that is in a marriage relationship to find pleasure in spending that time talking and conversing with her husband. Because these men that we choose to be our husbands, they really ought to be good dudes. We should be willing to get into them, y'all. So if we marry a man that we supposed to love and trust and then put him up on the shelf like he ain't good enough to know everything about me, yeah, that's kind of strange. So I would say find a good man, marry him, and be into him. Be very intimate with him. Show him everything. Let him see where the mole is that nobody else knows about. That could be a fun night. And then you might be coming closer and closer to him that you want to tell him everything. You might even want to lick his face. Who knows? But if you're going to spend time, being closer to your girlfriend intimately, and I'm talking about with conversation, y'all keep it PG. I'm talking about in conversation, then you're taking away from your husband. So I just always encourage women to build a relationship with their husband outside of just being husband and wife. Let him or her become your best friend as much as possible. That's all.
Okay. Yep, absolutely. I think that a man should protect his wife at all costs, because
and vice versa. I protect my husband. I mean, you say something wrong, black man, I'm be like, what?
Exactly.
He did what?
Exactly.
I'm questioning it.
And when things go bad with your wife needs to be in the vicinity of you, where you can get them and protect your wife. See, that's why I don't agree with the whole mingling, single and married mingling together, because when something goes down, right? When something go down, it's going to be, oh, well, I didn't know nothing about it. Just like I told you about the situation at my job with these married women. The lady asked the question. She said, if you went on a trip with your best friend and your best friend was dating your brother and she had a one-night stand, would you tell your brother or would you keep girl code?
No, I'm telling everything. And then guess what else? Don't come and tell me nothing. If you don't tell me nothing, I gotta protect marriages. But listen,
honey, you know what they said? You know what the married women said?
What?
I'm gonna keep girl code.
Whatever.
Swear to God, I'm gonna keep girl code.
When that thing fall apart, black man, that's bad. Let me tell you something, Anissa. You are. I see what you're saying. Y'all have good, clean fun. I understand, nothing crazy. But let's just think about this. If you were married, would you not want to spend that time with your husband? Just think, could you and your husband not be that connected? And if so, what would be wrong with it? Because I have heard women say, I'm tired of my husband. I need a break. I don't want to be around him, which is so ridiculous. I don't know why people say that. I'm not ever tired of Mr. Boss. I really ain't, y'all. But if we are not getting along or being the best that we can be, we got different corners we can go in. Get your house big enough that you can have some separate corners. That's what you got to do. Let me read this super chat. AL, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says she mad about his socks, but she's short-sighted. She not thinking about the things she does that annoy him, and he says nothing about it. Get over it. You're exactly right. I agree with that. Now, I do know that we all should always be considerate of each other and not be disrespectful. So even a conversation can bring this out. If a woman or a man is feeling like their spouse is being inconsiderate, let's have a conversation about it. You know, we want to keep, I'm not going for this happiness stuff. We want to keep contentment. We want to be okay and satisfied within our relationships because we don't want to be wandering. We don't have wandering eyes, and I look, y'all, I constantly protect my relationship. I don't allow myself to be out there in the world with no single women or, I'm sorry, y'all. I just prefer to be with my husband. I'm sorry. And if I do go to a baby shower, even with the family, of course, I'm asking him to escort me there. But if he should say no because it is family, I'd be like, guess what, though, y'all? Before the thing over, he'd be like, babe, why you ain't home yet? Something like that. So it's like, well, you could have came with me. So it's just we've gotten used to each other like that. And it may be extreme, but it's just okay. And I do shout out to you, Trey. I do like that idea. It is good for me to be that way and for him to be that way too. He can be your best friend, but not only friend. Nah, he could be my only friend. My grandbaby is my other friend. Yeah, he can.
How old is your grandbaby?
16, actually. I got 16 and 13.
Wow. Boys or girls?
Girls.
Whoa.
Girls.
I love it. I would love to see your interaction with them. Oh my God.
Oh man, I got sweet cheeks. Oh my goodness. You don't even want to see sweet cheeks, man. She's a trip. Sweet cheeks is so funny, boy. That's my girl. She is so grown. It's ridiculous. Sweet cheeks a trip. The baby girl is quiet, but sweet cheeks is my girl. Both of them are girls, but Sweet Cheeks was here a time by herself. So we built up a very cool relationship. She loved her grandma.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You know what's crazy to me, Security Boss? I just don't understand, like, the world itself. Like, if we gonna go, if my wife, I would never. Let me say this: I would never, and I've said this offline, online, between the lines. I would never travel to a place with men, a beautiful, angelic place with a man. Anything like that, I want to experience with my wife. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to go to the Dominican Republic with no dudes. I'm going to go with my wife. I'm not going to Miami with no dudes. I'm not going to the Maldives with no dudes. I'm going with my wife. The hell I look like? I don't understand it. And these girls trips, when those women at my job said that, when those married women said what they said, it just blew my mind that they would keep girl code and not tell their own brother that he got cheated on.
That's crazy. Trey, to answer your question, he says, SB, who was driving the whip in the video? Grandkid? No, that's AB. Yeah, AB is he is a TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, he is a huge influencer. I want to say is it 1 million? Close to 1 million subscribers. I'm auntie to him, but no, me and Mr. Boss, he's always liked our cars, and he had a Corvette also. And we told him one day that we was going to come down there and let him drive the Corvette, because at that time we had the Hellcat and the Corvette. So he liked both of them, and he wanted to get a new Corvette. So we was like, okay, we'll let you drive it and see. So his name is AB. Y'all go check out his channel. AB is the bomb. I mean, he is the bomb. So he drove the Corvette, and I actually rode in the car with him, y'all. Y'all know, I was like, oh my God, please let this little man be okay. But nah, he now has a Corvette, and he now he did not get a Hellcat though. He got a Dodge Durango Hemi. So he is now, I mean, he got his own house, y'all. He ain't but 25 years old. Even if is he 25? Yeah, he may not be 25 right now, y'all. He is such a smart young man. It's ridiculous, and he's a good boy. And I'm gonna tell y'all something about them. Y'all don't know me as Rich Auntie, but at Rich Auntie, I talk to the younger generation. And believe it or not, they looking at us like, y'all be arguing and fussing over there all the time. What is going on? I be like, just don't pay us no attention. But when I talk to them about relationships, they all want to get married. That's the crazy part. AB and all his friends, and it's a lot of them, they want to be married. They want to be married. I was like, wow, that's cool. And they're all under 25. I don't even think AB is 25 now. I think he might not be no more than 23 years old, want to be married. So it's like, I tell them all the time, y'all inspire me, because I would think that y'all be scared to death. You'd be like, no, I want to be married, but I be looking at y'all fussing over there on your channel, and I'd be like, what's going on? I'd be like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll find out later.
I have a question. So I heard Anissa say, so I can't wait till you drop the link, because I really want to talk to Shug. She said that she said, I'm not dropping friends I've had since I was 18 for no reason. We don't lead each other astray. Listen, if you get married and you come under the authority of your husband, and 2 years in, your husband say, you know what? I don't think Diane have good intentions. And I know you've been knowing Diane for 30 years. But in this season, Diane's no good for you. And she's definitely no good for this marriage. I think that she's not right for you. And I understand that you're not going to be able to see it, but I think it's time that we cut ties with her. You're going to tell your husband, you're going to choose your friend over your husband?
Yeah, they will.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
So you know what? It's Mr. Boss, let's go ahead and drop the link, because I want to get into this, because this is a big deal. Let me say this, and I understand that a woman, and I'm not taking away from y'all being single. Don't get married until you're ready. But it's interesting to me that they don't understand that they can have a loving, fulfilled relationship with a man that takes care of all of that. I mean, I don't know what they're looking for in a woman that they, and again, I'm not telling you to cancel Christmas on your girlfriends. I'm just saying we ain't hanging out no more. I'm checking in on you, of course. I might be checking in on you weekly, but we're not hanging out. We're not going to the bar. I mean, I guess if you wanted to tell me something, we might do brunch one morning, maybe once a quarter, if that, but that's only that one that has intentions on being married. I'm not fooling around with no single woman for long, not at all, because there's going to be an issue there. I'm telling you, she's going to be depressed. She's not going to like the idea that you're happy. You're going to see a difference in her behavior, and y'all going to be like, no, it's me. I look, okay. But I'm just telling you, it's sad to me that women don't think that they can love their man that much, or they can love being with him that much. That's just that's bad, because it all goes back to what they've experienced and what they've heard. Now, I'm sitting up here telling you different. Try to hear me. Try to hear what I'm saying. I'm not missing anything not having girlfriends. I'm not missing anything. Now, I can talk to women when I'm in my business, when I'm in my business attire, or when I'm in my business mode, or when I'm selling a house. Those people that I meet, those are my acquaintance, and I enjoy them. I enjoy them thoroughly. But when that transaction is done, I am done. They go on in their house. I'm going my way. You're not going to call me up like, you want to go hang out? No, I don't. I'm good. I go shopping with my husband, or we shop online. I appreciate the fact that he goes. Sometimes he'll go. Well, he used to go, and the mall used to have like the football game playing, and he'd be like, hey, go do what you got to do. And
Exactly.
And he wouldn't have a problem. I would go back every now and again, take him something to eat. Thanks, babe. He'll be fine. And I'll go here and shop. I mean, I don't abuse it. And then I'll be ready to go, and he just went along with me. Now, he did that for a few reasons. He does that for a few reasons. That's covering me. I mean, although he's not sitting there, he's still watching, if something was to jump off, or if he saw some people that, hey, look, because y'all already know the TV's near the food court. That's where everything jump off. he get to looking around like, hey, babe, this, come on. And I tell him everywhere I'm going, and we're always in the same area with each other. So I'm just saying, it's cool to hang out with your man. Ooh, Nat Case produce or produce. I'm assuming that's what it is. Love your lifestyle. Listen, I'm just telling y'all, it's cool. It's cool to be with your man. I just want y'all to marry for the right reasons and know that it's all or nothing. If you can be all into your relationship with your husband, you putting God first, you can have a very successful, fulfilling relationship. You really can. But if you're holding back and you're straddling the fence and you're letting other people and their ideas and the way they do their relationships get into your head, not giving all, then you may have some issues in your marriage. Who knows? But again, it's up to you and your man. Whatever you and your man decide. But I tell y'all all the time, I'm not interested in being dysfunctional. Hey, Nightish, how are you? SB, this is your perspective, which is my perspective, which is okay. Perspective of what? Of what I think women do for relationship or single girlfriends. Anissa, I done told you 20 times, do what you like. But guess what? When you get a husband, you're going to be sitting back one day and say, dang, SB told me this would happen. I got one question for you, Anissa, and any other single woman in this comment section that is believing in these girlfriends, these single girlfriends more than their man that they don't have yet. Do any one of y'all have or don't have a story about how a single woman did her girlfriend wrong? If one of y'all can tell me that in your lifetime of having girlfriends, none of them crossed you in any way, then I would say you picked your girlfriends very, very well, and you are a good discernment of people. If any one of y'all can tell me that in my life, none of my girlfriends have never did me wrong. If y'all can say that, then I'm like, teach me how to do this. Teach me. But if any one of y'all have a story where your girl did you wrong, I need y'all to always think about that when you're making decisions on hanging out with your girlfriends instead of your man. Plastic Cover said never. Plastic Cover, you got a girlfriend that has never trespassed. Plastic Cover, I need you to come up and tell us about this. That's a good woman. That's a good woman that you have as a girlfriend. Don't get rid of her. She's a good woman.
Right. My little brother Trey in this chat, he's on it too. He said, same for him. He said all his friends are married and it changed their friendship. It's supposed to, right? And so Trey is on it. He said, my future wife got to drop the single friends and any friend that's a bad influence, and he'll do the same.
I want to know though. Because Anissa, have you never had a girlfriend cross you or trespass? I need to know because y'all got some good friends. That's all I can say.
But how many men?
I've never had a friend or been associated with a woman that didn't try to cross me. I've never. I'm not saying all of them tried to cross me. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm just saying my analogy of what women can do. I'm not delusional. I'm not part of no sisterhood, and I'm not delusional on how powerful they can be or how, what's the word when they want what they want? Black men, they go for, what's that word we're looking for? Can't think of a word, but they go after what they want. I mean, I got to be totally honest with you. Persistent. They were down there. I'm going back to my mama. My mom, this woman was trying to go with my daddy, sitting on my mama front porch. Come on. No. I've seen it.
Security boss. Listen here, I'm not going to say too much, but I'm telling you, listen, you will be amazed. Listen, they said keep your enemies close, but your friends closer, because there are times when you're married, those women will shoot their shot, especially the ones that hit the wall backwards and bust the side of their head off. They'll shoot their shot. I wish I could. I'm gonna do a show with all my family members one day, and so we can understand. I remember even at my daughter's graduation party, right? There was a wasp on a member of my family's back. She was a female. And I hit her back, and my brother said, "Damn, you slapped her, hit her hard." And she turned around and said, "He been wanting to hit me hard like that anyway." My brother.
Story, I know, but listen, I know what you're saying. They frisky like that. Hey, Shoo.
Hey, SB, how you doing?
Hey, Shoo.
What's going on, black man?
What's going on, baby girl?
Tell him, Shoo, in SB's voice. Tell him what's up. Tell him.
Hey, y'all, it's me.
There you go. Shoo. Listen, I'm just trying to tell you, they're devious. Yeah, they can be. SB, this has not happened in my circle. I am so glad, Anissa. I am so glad that this hasn't happened. So you have had good friends, and that is good. I mean, keep them. Keep them. I'm not telling you to leave your friends, but it all depends on what you and your husband decide to do. I'm just telling you, I have seen women at their best and at their worst. And at their worst, I do not want them to be an influence on me at all. And I mean, women today are more liberal than they were back in my dating day. So I just can't imagine. And not that I would hang out with any young girls anyway, but I'm just saying, men are getting, the number of men is diminishing. So it's like, I got to have this one. I want this one. I do this one. I don't know. Shusha, what you think?
Well, on the topic, I've been listening. I do have a little pushback. And the pushback is, yes, I agree. Happiness does come from within, but when you're in a relationship, there is a certain amount of your happiness that does come from your spouse.
Okay, tell us what that looked like, Shushu.
What I mean by that is like, you're looking for your spouse to be part of your peace of mind, right? To uplift you, to encourage you. When you're emotionally invested in a relationship, what your spouse, what your partner thinks about you matters. That will have an effect on you. How they treat you has an effect on you. How they talk to you has an effect on you. That can damage you emotionally. So while, yes, a certain amount of your happiness does rely on you as a single person, my happiness is solely dependent upon me because I don't have anybody else to pour into. I don't have a spouse there like to lean on when I'm down. So yeah, my happiness is solely my responsibility. But when I'm in a relationship and I'm pouring emotionally into somebody, how they think, what they think about me matters. That can affect my self-esteem. How they treat me can affect my self-esteem. How they talk to me can affect my self-esteem. So like all that does matter.
Okay, so what I heard you say is your spouse could possibly be a bad husband, and that you on the other side may not know who you are completely in Christ or in God. You don't know who you are because I'd be darned, I'm gonna let somebody tell me who I am. Like for instance, you said because what you're speaking of is insecurities. You're allowing somebody to give you insecurities. That means you don't know who you are. If you know who you are, you stand on who you are and you don't let nobody do that. You're talking about dysfunction. I think you're talking about dysfunctional relationship where there may need to be some counseling situation going on because you're talking about a man treating you bad, right? Am I right about that?
No, he don't even necessarily have to treat you bad. Like they could just be a not as good of a spouse as they think they are.
Okay, that shouldn't have anything to do. That's to me. Mm-hmm. I don't think that should have anything to do with who you are as a human, though. See, I don't like happiness. I don't like happiness because I don't think happiness is something in a marriage relationship. We don't look for perfection in each other. We shouldn't. So it's going to be several times where you're going to get mad at him per se and say, you know what? You ugly today. You left your socks in the floor. You did this. You did that. Now, are you saying you're trying to kill his happiness? Or what are you trying to do when you say that? You're just discussing some issues you have. Am I right?
No, what I'm saying is this. Like when you're like how you feel about yourself. Like when you're by yourself, like that's solely your responsibility. Like you can come in a complete whole person, like, full of self-esteem, all of that, and then get in a relationship and lose all of that because part of who you thought you were or who you knew you were got lost and taken away by that spouse.
Okay, see, that's where I have trouble because I don't believe that. And I'm going to tell you why. Is because when you go into a relationship and you agree to be a wife, that is now who you are. And see, I think that's where women sometimes struggle because they want to be a wife, but they also want to have their own agenda, which is okay. But the wife comes first. And see, if you don't succumb to being the wife first, then you will be like, gosh, I'm unhappy because I ain't doing what I want. So that goes back to the selfishness I talked about in the beginning. That's what that is. That's what, because I want to do what I want. So since I'm not doing what I want and it's your fault, I'm not doing what I want, I'm no longer happy. See,
well, I do agree there.
That's what that comes.
The happiness. I think y'all were talking about is really cloaked in selfishness. Basically,
absolutely.
I want to do what I want to do. Like, yeah, I want to be married, but I still want to do what I want to do. He's not. I expect everything, and I'm giving little to nothing in return. That's selfishness. But what I'm talking about is like when you are really invested emotionally in a relationship, that does have an effect on you. It does.
What does?
How your spouse feels about you, how they treat you, and like the bottom line is this: I should be able to, like, granted, any reasonable person understands that you ain't gonna be happy 100% of the time with the person that you with. You're gonna have disagreements, you're gonna have arguments, you're gonna have times where it's like, oh my God, I can't stand this person. But at least 70-75% of the time, I should at least like you. I should at least like being in the same room with you.
You should like them. You should like them 100% of the time. Your love might be challenged, but you should like them 100% of the time. I think. I like my husband, but sometimes I'm not feeling so lovely towards him. But that ain't got nothing to do with my happiness, and I don't use happiness. I'm just using it for the sake of the conversation. You kind of get what I'm saying? I'm truly content as a person. If I start tripping, talking about I'm unhappy, what is unhappy about me? What am I experiencing that makes me unhappy? Am I experiencing thoughts that my husband don't love me? My husband don't want me? My car dirty? I gained 20 pounds. What is breeding this unhappiness? Because I'm supposed to have joy within my purpose in my relationship with God. That's the part I'm not, when you say happiness, it screws me up because I'm thinking, what is you looking for? You looking for that man to be like, to play into whatever it is you want to make you feel good. And you got to learn how to feel good on your own. You should never let
insecure about, let's be honest now.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest.
Because like if you let's say for a woman who takes her role as a wife seriously, then you understand that your husband appreciating you as a wife, accepting you, embracing you as a wife means everything. And if he doesn't, for whatever reason, one day he takes it for granted, he's having a bad day, he takes his day out on you, that affects you. That does have an effect on you.
I agree.
I agree. And another thing too, like, energy is transferable. Like before I came in the house, I probably was in a good mood. I was having a good day. Then I come in and here it is, this person with all this negative energy, all this rah, rah, rah. And now all of a sudden I'm upset. I'm in a bad mood. I got an attitude and all this other stuff. Energy is transferable. So I have to at least, like, that's what I'm saying. Like those factors come into play too.
I agree with what you're saying, but those are the times where we have to understand and trust in God and to do what he needs to do. Because guess what? You can fall off one day and you could be in a bad mood, right? And you come in here now, you being in a bad mood today, does that mean that you're unhappy? Because I just see unhappiness being something that doesn't mean anything. I'm unhappy because it's raining, I'm sad or what have you. But do you not still have your foundation of being satisfied with who you are in your marriage? Just because you and your husband at odds? Are you telling me we can't argue and have a bad day, or he be off his square, or he not being the leader that he's supposed to be, that I got to be unhappy with him? Is that what it is? And if I am unhappy with him, I'm saying, what am I being without? What is he leaving me with if I'm unhappy with him? What am I missing?
What I'm saying is though, like, like for instance, if he feels like you're, or he makes you feel like you're not a wife or you're less than a wife, start taking you for granted. Or like, let's say y'all get in an argument and y'all have an argument, the argument lasts more than a day. Y'all been beefing for a while. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that happens. I mean, it starts to make you question yourself. It starts to make you doubt yourself. Like, oh, wow, am I really a good wife? Or like, am I really meant for this? Am I really made for this? Am I really built for this? It does start to make you question yourself. So as much as you, yes, you should be like, oh yeah, I'm a great person. But when my other half is making me question myself, then yeah.
But
You know,
see
one of the
that
things.
when you're doing that,
One second, Bolo. I'm gonna say this real quick.
all right.
I'm gonna land. Hey, one of the things. This is from a marital perspective. One of the things I do in my marriage is me and my wife will have a disagreement or an argument, but my wife already know before we shut our eyes, we're gonna talk that shit out. It ain't gonna be no 2 or 3 days with me. I can't stand it. I can't go 2 or 3 days without talking to my wife. I can't beef with my wife more than I cannot. If my wife already know, me and my wife already established that. If we have a disagreement before we lay our eyes closed and go to sleep, we're gonna talk it out, and the next day it's gonna be a brand new day. And that's that. This is me telling the men out there that who are married. Listen, man, I don't know how long you can go without your wife, but I can't go more than a day. I ain't no reason me today sitting here and lie. I cannot walk around passing my wife like she don't exist and we ain't talking. I can't do it. I cannot. So all the men out there, if you and your wife at odds before y'all go to bed as a leader, hey baby, listen, I know we were at odds earlier today. Let's just talk about it. Maybe it's not as big as me and you holding a grudge against each other for 3 or 4 days.
Let me add this. A lot of the times in arguments, when husbands and wives argue, a lot of the times we bring our own inadequacies into that argument, and that's something that we need to hold on to and understand. Because when we're talking about a covenant, right, we have to understand the greatest example who had the greatest covenant. What was his covenant? His covenant was sacrificing. And that's the kind of covenant that he gives us as an example as husband and wife, right? So our covenant is sacrificing and in service one towards another under Christ. So if I come home one day and I have an attitude, you being in Christ should say, I know this ain't about me. This is about what happened out there. So what I'm going to do is pray for him and listen, I may have a bad mouth, but when you read 1 Peter 3:1, it says, listen, man, as long as you continue doing what you're doing, you have a good man. And understand, men, we fall. We're not perfect, right? But as long as you know in his heart he has a good man, he's going to see you for who you are. He's going to see that, damn, I came in with a bad day and my wife, she just supported me. Babe, I apologize. My bad. Thank you. You dig what I'm saying? A lot of the times what we do is because of that negative vibe that Black man was talking about, a lot of the times we get lost in that thought process, and then we'll just bring something in hell. We're just going to join in, and everybody's getting emotional, and no one is focused, right? Someone has to be focused. Sometimes it's going to be you as my wife. Sometimes, most of the time, it should be me as the husband. That doesn't mean that we don't fall. We are joint heirs in this. Understand that. We are joint heirs. I can't do this without you. The Lord set that up. There are things that, as a brother, that to BMU, that I can say to him, but there are things that his wife can do that no man can do. See, I don't care how, and I'm just going to use this as an example. If my wife says my pipe game is garbage, I don't care how much I talk to BMU. He can't get my pride or my manhood back where it needs to be. So women have been given this place in our lives where they are there to strengthen us in times when nothing else can strengthen us. Nothing else. So it is very important, because I think that a lot of the times what SB and BMU is saying gets lost in translation.
Absolutely.
It is important to have that relationship in Christ. When I marry Shushu, it's not about you and I. That marriage is about us two together serving Christ. That's what it's about. Because if it's just about you and I, we already put a ceiling above our head. Because one day you're going to do something, and if I don't have that thought process of forgiveness of how Christ forgave, you and I are going to have a problem, because there's just so much man can take. But if we have that thought process of aspiration of being like our Lord and Savior, it's 7 times 70. I got to forgive. You dig what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we need to be more conscious of what we do, how we say, because happiness is a feeling. That's what it is. People think that when you get into marriage, it's it. No, marriage is work.
It definitely is.
Marriage is work. And Christ never promised you happiness here. He promised you loneliness. He promised you heartache. He promised you these things because this is what was given to him. He promised you paradise in the next place to come.
All right, don't give it all.
I'm sorry.
Don't give it out. Y'all know how Bolo. But listen, I would say it. But Bolo, I thank you. No, wait a minute. Hold that thought, Bolo, because we got to go on first. Because I know automatically is get ready to be something else, right? So shoot, Bolo. Thank you. Hold that thought, and I'm gonna let you do it. I would say everything that they both said, but I wouldn't say it like that. This is what I would say. You have to have a relationship with your creator. That's actually what you said. And it steals, if you to continue to think about what you were getting ready to say, it goes and boils down to selfishness. If you're not wanting to lift your husband up and actually go see what is wrong with him, and like Bolo said, sacrifice for him your own feelings, and like, because Bolo, I think I heard ego. If you want to hang on your ego because he came in the house wrong, that's still selfishness. You have to say, listen, I'm gonna sacrifice this and go see what's wrong with my man. So it goes still back to relationship. Bolo, go ahead. Bolo,
I'm here. So
go ahead.
along my plane, the whole thing about is what we have to understand is this: in relationships, if I win in an argument, someone has to lose. Someone has to lose. And what did I gain by my wife losing? Did she gain clarity? Did she gain understanding? Did I build her up? No, I did not. I hurt her. I diminished her. And that's not what we're supposed to do as man and as wife. We're supposed to uplift each other. So the thought process of I got to get what I got to get in and such and such, that's pride and ego. And you can't have Christ and ego living in the same place. And my acronym for ego is exiting God out. You cannot have ego and Christ at the same time. You have to pick one God to follow.
Yeah, I got that from Bolo. I'm going to tell y'all that. I got that from Bolo. The ego thing. So, you understand how that, you understand what I'm saying? Our concentration for so long now, me and Mr. Boss, has been on God. That's kind of like we've settled into that. So the arguments now, it's not the same. We understand now, but I understand exactly what you're saying, but after a while, it doesn't hurt your character nor your happiness. You just understand that that's just how the marriage relationship works. It's up and down, and y'all are one, and you look out for each other. You can't even get mad at them anymore. I mean, you get mad for a second, but then it's over. You get what I'm saying? It's like, oh, well, you keep going.
I think what's lost is the definition of happiness. Because just like with respect, there are two kinds of respects. You have a common everyday respect for like your fellow man, just as a respect, for this is a human being. And then you have respect as far as like a hierarchy. This person is like, my manager, my superior, whatever. This person, okay, this is my husband. I respect my husband. There are different kinds of respects. There's also different kinds of happiness. The happiness, I think you guys are referring to as far as people like just being so free to leave their marriage. Yes, I would say there are some people who are leaving for selfishness, but they call it happiness. I'm not happy. Well, what makes you happy? What is it that's not making you happy? Oh, because he didn't buy me flowers when he said to begin a relationship. He said he would give me flowers every day. He stopped giving me flowers every day. And he don't give me nothing for my birthday. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He didn't do this. Okay. Well, what about him? What are you giving to the relationship? Oh, well, I'm here. What I gotta bring? I'm the woman. What I gotta bring? You know what I mean? Like that's a superficial, like real shallow perspective, and a lot of people are cloaking it in happiness. That's selfish.
So how are you defining it?
But what I mean by happiness is all the things that you guys are defining. Uplifting your significant other, uplifting your spouse, like sharing like intimate moments with them, like just the little things, so that even when we are having like, bad times, a bad moment or whatever, just being in their presence, what I'm saying, should be calm and being peaceful. Like that's a happiness. That's a center or a side of a form of happiness. You know what I mean? But people don't label it that way.
I don't. I label it as just being. That's why I have problems relating to the word happiness so much, because it's just being. I just that's who I try to be. I'm just being that person. I'm optimistic. I don't have a need or a desire to be negative. I try to speak life into people, husband included, and you and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So when you say happiness, I'm always thinking, and when I hear it from people, it's almost like some event or like I'm got to chase something. I'm not chasing anything. You know, I'm not trying to be selfish. I'm not, what other material thing do I need to have? Because you do know that women and men say things like, when I get that big house or when I get that $1 million, I know I'm gonna be happy. But you really won't. You really won't. You still gonna be that same person. You just gonna have some money.
Security boss, can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Because I just want to add a little. You were talking from a biblical standpoint just now, but I looked it up. So it says for husband and wives to seek your own joy in the joy of your spouse, right? That's scripture, right? But then I went over and I looked up the difference between joy and happiness, and it says joy is an inner feeling. That's something that happens on the inside of a person. Happiness is the outward expression. So there's two different. So the Bible always speaks in as far as marital terms in joy. It never speaks of of happiness. Happiness is outward expression, right? What you see, what you get, right? But joy is something that's on the inside. So I want to just bring the difference to that to the people in the chat that are having the conversation. I just wanted to bring that to the forefront as well.
But Shusha, you think right now, just in your mind, the way in your consciousness, the way you think of it now, you think that if a man were to mistreat you, that would be something that you could label as unhappiness and enough that possibly make you leave the relationship.
Yeah, well, because you think about it, like if we are saying happiness comes from within, that means like that fuels your self-esteem, how you feel about you, and I agree. You should have a healthy sense of happiness that comes from within. But when you're in a relationship and you emotionally invest in a relationship, your partner affects that. How you feel about yourself, how you think, all that stuff is affected by your partner. Like, if you talk about being a wife, what I mean? What your husband thinks matters. It matters. Like so many people, and I'm not just saying women, because men do it. Men lose themselves in relationships too. People lose themselves in relationships all the time because when you are emotionally invested in something, what that other person thinks about you does have an effect on you.
So do you think at any time during that relationship, if that were to happen, that you would be blameless?
I wouldn't say blameless. I guess
you know what I'm saying? Do you think at any given time in your relationship that you would make him feel less than a man or not appreciative of whatever he was doing? Just the opposite of what you just said.
I'm pretty sure at times, yeah. Even
but
if it's
I listen to what you're saying,
like purposefully do it or something like that, like I didn't do it with the intent of like trying to emasculate him, but things like that happen. Like, yeah, that's possible.
but I think Shushu, I think that in your verbiage, I think it's very important that we listen to what you're saying. You're saying that when you are emotionally involved or emotionally invested, when marriage ain't just emotional, there needs to be you need to have logic involved, because I need to understand what's making my wife upset and what's pissed off. I'm just emotionally invested. We both gonna fall under, and that's the problem.
But can I add?
And a little bit of duty.
Let me just throw this, then you can go on BMU.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
What BMU just said, and I'll drop a bomb on it. What BMU just said was joy is something eternal. Happiness is the reaction, is the effect of that joy. So what we have to understand is that connection is through the heart. That's why Christ always talks about the heart. He always talks about that. So when we're just saying emotions have no context or perspective. I'm just pissed off and angry. It's when I give context and perspective to why I'm upset. Now, should the anger that I had, is it justifiable? Is it justified? Should I be this angry? Shushu came in screaming. If I'm just emotionally invested in this relationship, I'm going to scream back at you. But if I'm logically invested through emotion, I'm going to sit there and go, babe, what's your problem? What happened today? Why are you bent out of shape? So we can't just be emotionally involved.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is this, like, when you really care about somebody, like, and you're in a relationship, you're in a committed relationship with someone, like just being around them, being in their presence, like, you know, having them like say loving words to you, like that brings you happiness. It does bring you joy. It makes you want to be around them. But what I'm saying, and granted, you're not going to feel like that all the time. You know what I mean? You're not going to feel like that all the time. But granted, I should want to be around you. I should like to be around. I should like at least being in the same house with you more than I hate being around you or hate being in the house with you or having arguments. I think the logical part is understanding that I won't be happy with you 100% of the time every single day. But like what I'm saying is, I should at least we should have a peaceful environment around one another.
The logical
And
portion.
that in itself is that peace, that solace, that solitude, the bond we have with one another, all of that creates happiness. That's really what it is. All of that is what that is.
The bond of peace and all of that you're talking to is what creates strength in the relationship. So that when you do have those issues of argument, that you can stand strong and fight through it. Right. So we're gonna have times when, you know, when the house is uneasy. Now, at the end of the day, if I just tap into just being emotional and just being tied into that, then, you know, we're not gonna win. I have to know my wife and know that this is not her. This is not how she moves. There's something going on outside that's adding to this. So, you know what? Let her get it out. I don't want to pour into her, because at this point, ain't nothing going to take. Let her get it out. And then because that's what the Lord says, be angry and sin not. He's not taking you from being angry. He's saying to you is let this clear a little bit so that you make a decision that's out of order. So, you know, when your cognitive thought comes back and you're still angry, now we can sit down and say, okay, what happened at work? So why did you scream on her like this? And through that, I can say, well, you know what? I understand your perspective, but you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But why was I wrong, Bo? Because of this, that, and the third. And when you're calm and you have context and perspective to your anger, there is clarity. This is why the Lord says, be still and hear the whole matter. A lot of us don't do that. So even when we're in relationships, because we're connected so tightly, we take things really to heart. I get that point, totally. But we have to stop that, because being emotional is tied to fearful thoughts.
Okay, Bolo. Bolo, we're going to have to put a timer on you.
Yeah, you got a timer on you.
Huh? I didn't hear you, Bolo.
I'm long-winded. I'm sorry.
Okay, so hold on, Bolo. Hold that thought. He everything he said was exactly right. I love that first part he said, but I want Jedi to go ahead and add his Jedi. I don't see you anymore, but I want Jedi to go ahead and speak because we've been there for a long time.
Sorry. Sorry, someone's trying to call me. I'm kind of surprised. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm kind of surprised how we're trying to act like women are not women.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, like I'm married to a woman. There's things that as a man, for example, talking about how I might feel happy or feel I'm at peace or I feel love or affection for somebody. My father doesn't have to hug me for 20 years, and yeah, I know that he loves me, because as a masculine way of displaying affection or love towards somebody, I can tell he loves me. But a woman doesn't operate like that. I can say, you know, I can say the bills are paid. I can say, hey, she can work from home and all stuff like that. But there's also another thing about us in terms of us being, in terms of the headship over our women, is also cultivating a place of peace where they're feeling comfortable, but not only just safe in terms of not being from fear from danger, but more importantly, feeling content that I'm with someone that has my interests in mind. Not talking about, oh, he gonna give me the shoes I want because I asked for it. He gonna say, hey, listen, he appreciate for little things that I do for him or anything like that. And it's very minute, but they have dramatic consequences when they build up over time. And for example, when you're dealing with an overly like changing woman, because they are emotional creatures, but that's also the balance of why we need them in our lives, because I can be, you know, headstrong on my purpose or anything like that. But if I don't have something, a level sense of, hey, take a break. Hey, let's just go off for a walk. Hey, don't touch the phone for an hour. Let's just sit and talk. You know, those things is what Shushu was talking about. And I feel like a lot of women are talking about happiness. nobody on this panel are dumb individuals and very, very smart and have level sense of common sense. We know that when we hear the word happiness in terms of modern times, saying, "Well, he didn't give me a new Gucci bag, so therefore he ain't about it. He ain't paying my college bills, whatever, and whatever." I'm like, we know what that means. Like, that's fickleness. But we're talking about happiness in terms of contentment, in terms of, especially coming to a marriage while I'm with this person 24/7. There's gonna be some things again. Hell, like, you remember the time you had no choice. You had no choice to walk away from your parents when you were kids, and they got on your nerves.
Right. Very good. Very good. Jedi, but I gotta tell you, all women ain't alike.
Of course. That's why there's winners and losers.
All right. So selfish likely. What? Scam, how you doing today, sir?
All is well.
This is your topic, sir. So have at it. Shout out to you.
Yeah, it got butchered, but
I'm sorry. We didn't mean to butcher it. Maybe you should have came up earlier and put us on the right track.
Yeah. But I do like something Black Man did say, because it was one of the main things I was hunting for. Because this is just me from the outside. I'm just some dusty dude over there somewhere.
Okay.
There's a man here, and then there's a woman over there. And always the narrative is, if you don't buy her a Gucci bag, like Jedi said, it's never two marriable people. If people are unmarried, it don't matter what you do. It's going to be a disaster. Unmarriable people don't matter if you give them $1 million or $2. It ain't going to work. Dust is dust. But two marriable people today, let's be real, they don't know what they're doing. And here we go. The main reason, there's a man over here, a woman way over there. There's a talking point mafia somewhere, and there's the Bible beaters just beating them. They're trying to get them in a room and just lock the door and say, "Y'all figure it out because of God."
Exactly.
Or the talking points. Well, the high value. No, just no. And then there's obvious information. The biggest reason people are leaving is because of communication. That means when something goes wrong, talk and listen. No one's talking about. Because honestly, I can't find a panel. Any content creators talking about communication? None. Incompatibility. The talking point mafia butchered it so much. Don't nobody know who to date. If I was an outsider listening to talking point, it's fictional characters. I don't know what a high value man is no more. I don't even know what a simp is anymore. I don't know. Or infidelity. Now they talking about exercise options. What? How about no? Then the expectations. That's getting butchered across all. Nobody asked the people, who are you? What do you need? And what do you want? And yes, I'm asking, what do you want? People are selfish. Call it what it is.
That's the bottom line.
They want
you mentioned it's selfish.
Call it selfish. I call it realistic. Security boss, you want something. You probably want it now. Black Man Unfiltered, you want something for your spouse. You do. Everybody wants something, and everybody needs something. If that's the case, we all selfish.
No, what makes it selfish? Because you want something? No, it makes it selfish when you want it outside of the parameters of the relationship, or what that's the only thing that matters. I put my husband before myself, so I'm not selfish. My husband puts me before himself. So he's not selfish.
I'm talking about selfish. Like, there's a standard and there's something that you want out of your spouse. But the way they make it seem like he's just supposed to be show up and be Christian, and they have a job, protect and provide, and they qualify for marriage, submit until he dies.
Well,
that's
again,
kind of what the narrative is.
Right. I'll address it because, again, in my marriage, it's just completely different. When you're married to a woman and you know who that woman is, and my wife has before said something, I asked her something. I came home from work and I asked her something. She was like, "No!" I said, I'm like, whoa, and I could have done the very thing of the men that you're talking about. I could have matched the energy, right? I could have got angry, upset, say, "Who you talking to? I'm not your child." The stupid stuff that men do. But I don't do that. I said, "Whoa." I said, "Baby, this is not your normal behavior." I said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?"
That part.
She said, "I don't want to talk right now." I said, "Cool." I said, "But before you go to bed tonight, I need to have a conversation with you." She said, "Okay." She'll go in there and watch a couple of episodes of something that she likes. She gets calm. And then she'll come to bed. I'll be like, hey, babe, earlier today you had snapped. I'm just trying to figure out what happened. And guess what she said? I made an appointment for our son to go to get his physical. I've been waiting for 2 weeks because they've been backed up, and they canceled again. And I can't figure out why they keep canceling when I'm setting the appointment. And she just went in and just started talking about how they canceled. It was something so, to me, if it was me, I wouldn't have been upset. But she's a female. She's different. She's emotional. So I addressed it. I said, okay, babe, well, listen, moving forward, if you're upset about that, let's talk about the thing that upsets you rather than you using yourself being upset toward me. And that's how we do it. And sometimes it happens here and there, but we talk it out.
So, Scam, we talk about communication and counseling and all.
Example.
But I want you to hold on. I want you to hold on for me. I was just saying that we talk about here. Now, I don't know where you go to get your wealth of knowledge all the time, but over here, we talk about communication all the time. We actually talk about feeding into your spouse. I think that's the biggest problem is there's no relationships within marriage. Relationship needs to have communication. But before you say anything, let's read these super chats and then we'll get back to it. All right.
Want me to read the super chats?
You can if you like. Go ahead.
Marcus Evans, $2.
No, only if you read them in your grown-up voice.
Oh, in that case, you
Oh, Lord.
I need grown-up voice. Okay. You want to do grown-up voice? Go ahead and do grown-up voice.
Oh.
You're not going to do it? Okay, so.
I mean, someone else can do it.
Okay, so Marcus, thank you for your $2 super chat. Says, what's up, everybody? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your super chat. Number 2, thank you, Marcus. I agree with SB. Thank you, sir. Again, thank you, Marcus. Shoo should be on your little, or should be on your little offering. She's dope. She is, isn't she? Look at her. She looks so nice. Look at her hair and everything. We haven't seen her in a while. I don't know what she's doing. Up there in New York City in the big lights. But anyway, I'm glad she's here. Marcus, again, thank you for your $5 super chat. We got Jedi Mike and the OG Bolo speaking the word of the Most High. Absolutely. They do excellent. Let's see. Marcus, again, thank you. Emotion is the enemy. Woo! Thank you again, Marcus. And he says, SB, this is why you are one of them ones and very important, these spaces. Thank you so much, Marcus. So listen, we're going to try to keep it. You know what? Scam, you are exactly right about what you're saying. But let me tell you, in my defense, a while back, and you probably were here that night, I asked you all, are there any men that are teaching you all to be great men and to be married men? And I think black men, we had a couple men that were doing it. Bolo is one of them. Bolo, where did you go? Bolo was one of them, but Bolo is, over at the village, we named Bolo. And there was a couple of others that were named too. I don't think that there's enough of men, and also the one you got up above you, black men. There's not enough men in this space of YouTube that are, I think, teaching men actually how to be married. It's just too many things that are allowed. When I hear about it, nobody's correcting people. Like you just said, they're giving thumbs up or whatever to, having several women. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the way to go into a marriage. I don't think it should be something that we applaud and be like, yeah, because men been cheating all their life, they should take it into marriage. I agree with you when you say that. So I agree with you when you're saying what you're saying. But on the other side of it, as far as the ladies go, I'm always trying to be an example for the women and talk to them about how it is to be married. Now, be married. I know it's not easy. I want to give them the good and the bad, but I can't, we can't cover every scenario that actually goes on. There's going to be things that go on in marriage that I can't even touch. So I'm glad that women are here. I'm glad that Shushu is here. I'm glad and happy. I'm happy actually when Shushu is here and Anissa is here to challenge my thought. It makes me think outside of what I'm normally thinking because I haven't experienced everything in my marriage that could be experienced. So it gives us an opportunity for us all to learn in that particular situation because Shushu, I just hear selfishness. I just hear that I'm not going to give. You need to give. You the one came in here with the attitude. And I can only tell you is when you build your relationship with God, you're no longer like that. You tend to let that go. You tend to release it. It tends to be, you tend to get the knowledge of knowing that you all are one. He's no longer your opponent. You become one and it's different. It's just different when you've been married, especially if you've been married a long time. So that thing you come in with, whereas this is about me and that's you tend to lose that over time, but it definitely comes with getting closer and closer to God or a follower of Christ, whatever it is, that you get your strength from. If your foundation is built upon that, you have to continue to build and pour into that relationship, and that kind of goes away. Now, I'm not saying you ain't gonna have trials. I ain't gonna say you ain't gonna want to poke out your lips, but it tends to make sense after a while. But if it doesn't, that means one or the both of you are definitely being selfish, and that is definitely what breaks up relationships.
I heard something totally different.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm wrong. And
What?
I gotta exaggerate. Shoo meets Joe Jenkins. Joe Jenkins has no emotional intelligence and doesn't communicate. And when she goes home, he drains the life out of her, wrecks every nerve she had.
But
Not temporarily, but permanently, to the point where she don't want to come home and deal with this dude. She was all right before, and there's this dude. He won't listen. It just ain't what it is. Now, what does she do? She can't get him to talk. She can't get him to do this. And is she obligated to stay because of God? Or
Well, yeah, I mean, even though you say God's name like that, it don't change anything. He's still here and he's still in their marriage. But guess what? Shushu married him. So for whatever reason, something happened. Shushu needs to be finding out what it was. You have to have empathy and compassion for your man. You have to figure out what makes him tick. That means that's a lot of communication and a lot of intimacy. We got to figure it out because they're not going to be alike. Shushu going to have some issues too. Not Shushu, but you know what I'm saying. Anybody's going to have some issues, and that, our parents and the things we grew up in is what shapes us. If he's gotten to the point that he's a drunk or alcoholic, whatever he's doing that he did not have prior to the marriage, we as women have to figure out where in the heck is this coming from. So it is our job to be like, hey, babe, when it's good, to be like, I need to know, tell me these stories. What happened? How did you grow up? I told y'all a story once before, and I hope this is covering it. Whereas, something you're a child, sometimes you can't even drop a cup of orange juice without getting beat upside the head. I don't mean literally, but I'm just saying screaming and hollering, oh my God, you dropped that. That shapes a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old when their parents are that aggressive towards them. Those are things that you bring into relationships, just in case you didn't know. Then now as an adult, you knock over a glass and you freak out and your wife is there, or she knocks over one and you freak out at her because you've been dealing with that from a 4-year-old because that's what you grew up in. You have to, as a wife, as the one who did not grow up in that dysfunction, say, hey, look, it's okay. You knocked over a cup of juice. It's okay. It's okay. I got it. It's good. Don't worry about it. And then they'd be like, oh, they ain't gonna say it in the moment that it's okay. But eventually you will start seeing that it doesn't matter anymore. See, in relationship, we're supposed to make each other better. You start seeing that man or that woman, whoever had that issue, start seeing that, oh, it doesn't matter if I drop something. Oh, she's not going to jump all over my head because I dropped something. You tend to get compassion for the person, and then you start building up empathy or whatever it is. You're beginning to know your spouse. That's all it is. You're just becoming one. And then you also go get that book, Power of a Praying Wife. And you start praying around your man. And also God begins to reveal to you who he is so you'll know how to deal with him. That's what happens. You don't run out because, like I said, you too, being Shushu, has an issue. I don't know what it is, and hers may not be as obvious because she's still able to clean the house and fix food and go get the kids and multitask like normal, but she might be a real bee. She might wake up with an attitude. What man wants to wake up with an attitude? How about this? He leans in to kiss her every morning. She's like, get off of me. Leave me alone. So now he needs to find out, babe, what happened when you were younger? Did your parents not hug and kiss you? Was no one in your house affectionate? You don't like hugs and kisses? Now he needs to find out why he's getting pushed away just because he leaned in for a kiss. But
breath stay, you got morning breath. Brush some teeth.
Guess what? As wife, you say, hey, brush your teeth at night so I can get some smooches in the morning. Whatever the situation is, we gotta be good with it. So guess what, Scam? So now he's found out why she pushes him away. Now they can work that out. Now, guess what? That's no longer an issue. Let's move on to the next. But does he leave her because she pushes him away? No, because whatever he found in her in the beginning is still there. But now she got some dysfunction. Let's work through the dysfunction so we can become one and be better together. That's how it works. So I mean, I don't know what more I can say, but that's how it works, y'all. You got to be, that's why I'm telling Anissa, you got to be totally intimate with your spouse. You got to know who it is that you're married to through and through. And you can't do that telling the secrets to the home girls. Or men, you can't go do that telling the cranks, the hang-ups to the home boys. If she don't want you to touch her in the morning, find out why. Babe, what's going on? Don't make it about you. Don't make it about, and even with this sex thing, I hear so much about these sexless marriages. Y'all, I think we need to have a talk. Can we have a talk right now, y'all? We're gonna have a talk. Oh, Mr. Boss, I need to answer a question first. Okay, hold on. Quantum says, when is it his responsibility to get help and not put that off on his wife? Oh my God, listen, tell you something. My husband can never put nothing off on me because I'm one with my husband, and that's our ultimate goal, is to become one. Now, when it's time to go to counseling, we need to go to counseling. Did y'all know y'all can't see yourselves? Y'all know what I mean by that? I can see Mr. Boss better than he can see himself, and he sees me better than I see myself. Y'all know that, right? So whenever you're asking a spouse, how is the other spouse doing? You can't ask the spouse, you got to ask the mate. You know, is he a good husband? Yes. You go ask him, is he a good, right now you ask a black man, is he a good husband? He's going to say, yeah, I'm a good husband and daddy. Go ask his kids and his wife and see what they say. You get what I'm saying? But let's go back. I forgot where I was now. Darn it. Oh, we're going to talk. No, we're going to have a talk.
Oh, go ahead.
No, this is going to be deep though. So you go ahead with yours first.
No, I was going to say, that's the very thing that, okay, I explain it. Okay. The few times I come up or came on other panels and it's just, man, happiness ain't in the Bible. It ain't important. It ain't, yeah, it is. If she ain't happy, she's probably going to stroll out and never coming back. Well, because of God. But what y'all are doing today, she's not happy. Some kind of reason, something ain't working. Sit down and ask the question, what can I do? Make yourself a better person. Propose solutions. Work together. That's kind of what was to be expected versus overhearing happiness ain't important. It ain't in the Bible. These are great solutions, great answers. This is the very thing that needs to be said more often. I love it.
Okay, so listen.
But I'm just saying that they're just saying happiness ain't important and it's the woman's fault. Blame the women's. They walked out and left the family. You didn't even ask her why she was unhappy. She should have left.
This is a big one. This is a big one that I hear. When is it okay? When is it okay for a man to lead a marriage if he ain't get no sex? That's a big one. You know, no, black man, you asked me this, Scam. You lead it. You know, you have
alluded to
this. No, you didn't. No, I'm not asking either one of y'all. I'm saying that's a big question. Is when is it okay for a man to leave the marriage if he's in a sexless marriage, right? That's a major question. And you know what I always say? No, you can't lead a marriage. But I want to talk about this for a minute because I don't know why y'all think women don't like sex.
Right.
So there is a reason, Scam. This goes back to what you said. There is a reason why a woman is not willing to be intimate with you. I don't know what the reason is, but it's for you all to investigate and find out your wife is worth it. But instead, often what we do is we'll get that attention of that little girl on the way to work, and we'll go play around with her and not feed into your wife. Try to figure out what's going on. Why am I not attracted to you anymore? You know, if we, like you said, Scam, if you had more conversations or be more into your wife, into your marriage, you could find out a lot about each other. I agree with you. I agree. Selfless or selfish.
Especially after she has a kid.
I mean, it's just no reason. It's no reason, black man, for a man to be out here being married and thinking it's okay to entertain another woman.
No. Yeah.
It's not even sex.
But you know what though? I'll say this here. My old grandma sit in that chair and say, "Baby, don't ever let your husband leave the house full of something you could have relieved him from before he left." She said, because that pressure drives a man in the wrong direction. She said he needs to be relieved. He needs to be empty when he leaves. But I'm gonna bring it to what I'm gonna say. I think that sometimes it could be a medical situation. We'll start at the what it could be first. It could be a woman had a child, right? Something happened with her where her sex drive has just dropped, right? And she, and most women will not go to the doctor, right, because it's not recognized, right? Mm-hmm. You literally have to go and say, "Hey, babe, listen, I think that me and you before the baby, we were very sexually active. Now we're no longer. I think it's something that we need to go and get, seek help for. And if she's open to it at the time, and then, you go and you talk and you try to figure out ways to, to get her back into where she wants to be. Sometimes women they get to a point. That's why you have to be careful. Oh, I didn't want to say this tonight.
Okay. Black man, that's not true what you get ready to say either. I don't believe that.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, I'm trying my best.
I'll tell you why I don't believe it, because I just don't believe it. If a man is loving on a woman, I don't care, and ain't nothing wrong with her now. We talked about the medical, and there's nothing wrong with her, and he's feeding into her, however it was he was doing when he met her, and she's feeding into him, but they're not having sex. There is something wrong in that relationship. It's up to the man or woman, however it goes, y'all, to figure out what are we missing right now, baby. What you missing, honey? Why are you not finding me sexually attractive anymore? You done gained 30 pounds. Okay, are you willing to go to the gym with me? Yes, I'm willing to go to the gym with you. Or I had this baby, like you said, and I just don't feel the same. But baby, why don't you feel? Or how about this? Because all you do is come home and sit on the couch and play the game. I would prefer you help me in the house. I'll prefer you do this. Whatever the situation is, work it out, have the conversation. But what happens is we come in, woman and man, puffed up. Just like Shushu said, your breath stank. And then black man was getting ready to say, but SB, they make you frustrated. Some women just let it go. No, that's not. If we're just letting it go, there is an issue. Even if she's gotten to a certain age and her estrogen has fell totally to the bottom, then it's still an issue. Go get her some estrogen. Go get her that pack and fill her up so she can get her libido back in order. It's just you got to put that time in. And what happens is we get selfish and we be like, nah, I'm tired of talking to her about it. She weaponizing sex. God, the Bible says she's not supposed to be. Your wife wants you. She wants you.
Right. Right.
We're talking two marriable people this time, though, right? They were decent before they got married. They qualified.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because actually, I agree with everything that you said.
I'm talking about married folks in general. I'm not referring to people that are not married.
Okay, no, marriable people. But I agree everything. Actually, I agree with everything that you just said.
So let's go. Let's let black man go ahead and say what he get ready to say. Look at him like SB. Go ahead and say it, black man.
No, I wasn't about to say that. I was just about to say when it comes to the whole sex thing, I think that a lot of men suffer from sexless marriage. Let's just put it out there. However, I think that it gets to a point where I just don't want to say this because it's going. Okay, hold on. So let me tell you this. When you have to choose correctly. We talk about this a lot. Scam, you say this a lot too. You have to choose the right person to be with. And sometimes when men go out,
go ahead, man.
They'll choose the breast and the butt. Right? They'll choose the woman who will look good on their arm and not the woman that has any value outside of that. And what happens is most of these men will marry very promiscuous women who are used to a variety. They're used to Big Ben, Sweet Pecker Johnson. They're used to all these different situations. And then when they get married, they can, after like year 3, year 4, they're like, damn, I'm getting the same. I remember I used to have variety. I remember I used to have Chuck come over here and knock my booty cheek out. And now I'm still dealing with scam, right? Most of these women want variety. And that's why, and the reason that I'm saying this is because I work with a lot of trifling women. But the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of women say that. I've heard women say it out their mouth. Hey, listen, I'm tired of my husband. Listen, he used to put it down, but ever since he had that back surgery, he ain't been hitting on nothing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little on the side and I ain't gonna tell him.
Okay, so listen, I ain't talking about no piece of woman. If my man's back,
but these women are married though.
I know you talk about. I'm still saying I'm not talking about a piece of woman because if I got
unmarriable women,
listen,
there you go.
If I got a husband and he's hurt his back, but it's okay, but he can't put it down no more, then she needs to learn some other positions to make sure it happens. That is a piece of woman that would take advantage of the fact that her husband can't do what he used to do and to, figure out a way to go out and get somewhere else. That ain't no wife. I hate to say that, y'all, but that's not a wife. We need to do better than that. Why is the sexless marriage conversation always attributed to the woman not engaging and not men? Oh, I said both, because it could happen to both. It could be a man situation too. It could be the fact that the man has erectile dysfunction. Y'all know that. Or it could be that the man might be turned off because his wife has gained a whole lot of weight. We have to investigate this. We have to have hard truths within marriage. Y'all know that.
But I told you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I told you that, security boss. Remember when I told you at the marriage conference thing what the guy said in front of everybody, which he shouldn't have. He embarrassed the shit out of everyone. But what he said was, he said, I haven't had sex with my wife in 2 years. He said, I told her she's disgusting to me.
Wow.
When we got married, she was a particular size. And now that after she had the baby, she had the baby weight, but she sat on the couch and ate Oreos every day. Watched her favorite show. And he said, now she's to the point I can't even look at her. He said, I don't sleep in the same room with her. I don't have sex with her. Now watch this. Oh my God. This woman, I watched her for about a year and a half. You ought to see her now. That woman took everything he said. She done dropped probably 120, 130 pounds.
And she left him.
No, they're still together. They're still together.
I'm surprised, because if he handled it the way that you said it, then he was all wrong. He was too surface to be a husband.
He was.
If he handled it the way, I'm surprised that she did not lose that weight and leave that man, because that is you're supposed to love your spouse. That is what God commanded men to do.
I would have got left. Sorry.
Huh?
She'd have had to leave me. Sorry.
No. Well, I mean,
so hold on. So Scam, your wife had a baby. She got baby weight.
Once them Oreos stop popping, I'm gonna be such a bad husband when them Oreos stop popping. I'm gonna be such a bad husband. She's gonna want to leave or go to the gym, one of the two.
So you're saying you're not willing to be a leader even with the Oreos?
No, I do any and everything. But when you start popping them Oreos, I don't know.
No. We want you to lead us.
Gonna be up. I don't know if couch is gonna be flipping.
We want you to lead us through the Oreos. Listen, y'all make it seem like women are just like the dang gone. Oh, we're not that hard to figure out. All we want y'all to do is love us. It's true. And I'm talking about Corinthians.
Right.
No, she's wrong. I will do any and everything. But when
well, you got it then. If you doing that, but see what you can't
Oreos
do.
Come, I'm telling you.
See, guess what? No, the Oreos ain't got to come, because you are leading us on this journey. A woman know when her butt done got too big. All you got to do is be like loving her through the weight loss instead of picking at her through the weight loss. All you got to do is love on her, and baby, let's go to the gym and watch her work out.
Absolutely.
Well, then you would never have that problem then. If you're willing to do that and to pour into your wife like that, you will never have that problem. The problem come in is when men get frustrated and they be like, you so dang on fat, or you go to the men's conference, be up in there, she's disgusting. Come on, who does that? You're supposed to love that woman. See, he wasn't loving her. All you gotta do is do what he commanded y'all to do. Go to the blueprint. The blueprint says, husbands, love your wife. Patience is in there. Not being puffed up is in there. All that stuff is in there that the man is supposed to do.
There's a 300 Oreo limit. That's all I'm saying.
Look, it ain't even got to be like
that. Through 50, we're going to fight through 100. But at the 300.
You know what? I was watching this TED Talk, and the sex therapist was on there. She was giving a speech, and she was talking about how some of the patients that the clients that she's had come in, some of them, are married women, but like they've had issues with intimacy and having sex in their marriage. And it's like, they want to do it. They just don't have a desire to do it. So it's like, they just feel like they're forcing it. And so the therapist was like, well, she asked them, okay, so when you think about sex, like what words or what thoughts come to your mind? And like every single word that they listed was something that was like foul or dirty. And I don't mean dirty like in like a erotic type of dirty. I mean dirty as in like sex was a bad thing.
Wow.
And to bring it to their attention, like, well, she was like, part of the reason why you are having intimacy problems is because your idea of sex is that sex is bad.
Right.
That you're doing something bad. You're doing a bad thing. And, when she gets into like, the backstory of like where they get those ideas from, a lot of it was because of the conversations and how they were conditioned growing up.
Absolutely.
shown, they were taught everything, every conversation they were taught about sex is that it's a bad thing. It's bad. It's wrong.
Gloom and doom.
To their marriage, they have intimacy issues because sex has been embedded in them that it's a bad thing, that they're doing something wrong.
Wait a minute. Reckless Ray, what are you talking about? All or not, let's not pick and choose, SB. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Did you skip over the part where men got, I can't see it.
Men got to have multiple wives.
You know what?
God ain't told no man to have multiple wives. No, I didn't miss it. God didn't tell a man to have a multiple wife. He didn't. He didn't tell him that. I didn't skip over that at all, but I did go to the part about the husbands are to have your wife and women, your husband. That was not plural. I did go there though. It's in Ephesians. It talks about it all day long. It's all up and down there. God didn't tell no man to have many wives. Now he allowed them to do what they do. He even allowed David to get another man's. I ain't gonna talk about what he allowed him to do. But anyway.
Hey, you know what?
Reckless, you talking to the wrong one, dear. The wrong one. You got the wrong one.
T. Shaw said, and this is a fact as well in some cases. She said, I heard some women say sex is only for procreation. That is correct. And there are women out there that say we've had our 4 kids. I've gotten fixed. There's no other reason to have sex. Sex was for creating babies.
But black man and shoo, this goes back to the example I gave about the knocking over of the orange juice. If you don't get to know your woman, you don't get to know your man, you don't know that his parents was crazy if he dropped some juice on the floor. If you don't get to know your woman, you won't know that she was taught intimacy or wasn't taught intimacy or having sex, at all, or that it was a bad thing. But if you take the time to get to know her, you can see that, hey, she got some problems with this intimacy, and you can work and talk your way through it. It's just that we don't have time for that. That's why I mentioned men love your wives. It requires patience. Patience come within that. Patience. That's all. And Reckless, you definitely can hit the link and come on up. We don't have to keep reading your comments.
Oh Lord.
I had another question.
Yes, sir.
It was said somewhere, it was like I might be off with the word. You're talking about single people shouldn't be talking about marriage. People who want to know about marriage only talk to married people.
When you say talk about it, what you mean? Like me and you doing right now, or giving advice on it, or telling how it should be?
Or even that. If all the single women are only talking to married people, who they gonna marry?
Say that again.
If single people only gonna talk to married people, how does 2 single people gonna get married?
Well, I hope they're talking to married people about getting married.
No, meaning the way it's implied. Married people, we know all about marriage. We've got some experience. Then you single people, y'all don't know what you're doing. So why y'all talking to each other about it?
Well, why are you saying they don't know what they're doing? Who knows if they knows? What's your point with it? Listen, I say single people shouldn't talk about marriage because they have not experienced it. Because like I just said a moment ago, there's no way possible I can tell you or give you an example by every scenario. I can't. But I can tell you what I have been through and what it's like. And I can tell you what my marriage has been like in a covenant marriage, But if you're talking to single people today, what are you talking about being married when you don't know about being married? What are you saying about it? Are you saying how it should be, how you're going to be? What are you offering when you talk about it?
I'm saying if I'm going and dating a woman and she's like, he don't know what you're talking about. They got to talk to married people. How's she going to date me and listen to me, submit to me? And how that going to work?
No.
Everything I'm saying is wrong. And now I got to go check with the married people. How's it ever going to get on board?
No, the way it gets on board is that you have the mindset of a married person. Because remember, you're changing your mindset from a single person to a married person when you want to get married. So what you're doing is you're looking and getting the blueprint for a married person as a man. It's just like a woman would do it. She's now seeking out how to be a wife. So now her mindset is totally changing. So at that point, she can think differently about being married. And I hope I'm answering that question.
Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
Okay, if you're saying that the man, me now, single, I meet women and I want to marry this woman and everything's rocking, my mindset's going to change naturally anyway. I'm going to not be doing,
Your what's going to change naturally?
A lot of my mindset and actions and everything, because I'm going to be moving more like being a husband before I'm being a husband.
Okay, but how do you know that?
If that's the case, how are we going to get married?
That's my question to you. What investigation or what have you read or what are you looking at to make that change, that transition? How do you know what a husband looks like? Is it because your dad? Is it because you have a lot of married friends? It's because you read some books? What have you done to say?
All of the above.
Okay, well, that's what qualifies you. What do you mean? That's the same thing. The people who wrote the books are probably people who are married.
That's fair. But now I'll leave it alone. That's fair. And that's kind of what I was getting to anyway.
I thought you meant that a single person was going to a single person to get advice on how to be married. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was more like there's a lot of single and married shaming, just like every other form of separation in these spaces. And there's a lot of dust going on. Most of the married are pitching anything as talking points and stuff they don't even believe, and you can look at the eyes like, really, bro? I'm just being real. They saying some of the married people say dustier stuff than the single people.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. So I'll understand what you're saying. In a regular voice.
Hold on. Gotta get the regular voice. Troll be gone. If a man is providing and protecting his family, it's okay for him to go and exercise options, stuff like that.
Okay, so hold on right there. Let me say something. Are you saying to me a married man told another single man or a single people that was okay to do if he was taking care of him?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Of course, I dusted him off, but I mean.
But wait a minute. I'm assuming that person, that married man who said that, must be qualifying himself as a high valued man. And then that might be something that he feels like this goes along with being married, right?
I don't know. I was too busy trolling him after that.
Okay. I mean, look, if you are qualifying your marriage as a business, I would say anything goes on. Businesses are corrupt.
I think that the focus should be this, and I had to learn this. I know a lot of people are still learning it too, so I ain't judging nobody. But I think that we focus on the thing that's the most full of shit. Let me explain. I think we're listening to the men who pick the wrong women, and I think we're listening to the women who talk about marriage who picked the wrong men, meaning they shouldn't have picked anyway. But the women that say, hey, I went out and picked that guy, right? And so they're out of line. And I think the majority of the women and the men who are talking like that are miserable. I think, but the people who talk good about marriage, who have good experiences and talk like tonight, it was so easy for me to talk about when Trey asked that question, when he said, hey, what does it look like? What's pleasurable about marriage? It was good. It flows like this here. I ain't got to think about it. It's right there, right? Because that's what it is. Well, we're not listening to people who are preaching that. We're listening to the dumbasses.
But Black Man, he really had to steer me, because when pleasurable, I needed that, because otherwise I'm like, I don't have any complaints about my marriage. What are y'all talking about? But when he said pleasurable, I could relate to it. But when he said happiness, I can't relate to that. I'm like, what? I don't know. I'm not elated about anything. I am good. You know what I'm saying? I'm just good. But I think Reckless gonna hit the link and come on up here and tell us how marriage is business. In this, is Reckless married?
Oh Lord,
is Reckless married?
He's engaged, I think.
Okay, so he gonna come up here and tell us how it's a business. Like, I don't know exactly what he getting ready to say, but I'm gonna let him say it.
Lord.
This is the most logical person you ever meet in your life.
Look, I'm gonna promise him 10 good years and wish more for him.
Oh Lord,
he all about the numbers.
Okay,
there you go.
What's good, security boss? How we doing?
What's up, Red?
How are you?
How we doing?
Okay, so what is it that you want? So what is it you want to tell me about, sir?
Hold up a second. Let me get this echo handle. Okay, there we go. Now I'm locked in with y'all. How we doing tonight, folks?
Doing great. How about you?
Okay, I'm good.
And congratulations. Congratulations.
I live a good life. I can't complain.
Are you happy?
Now, I don't worry about being happy. Our community got to where we are by being happy. We are dead last. We have no power in this country because we're happy. Everybody does what they want to do. So for me personally, My edict and my job is to fix my family line. That's my responsibility. And that starts within the threshold of my door, and then influencing anyone who wants to get on board and those who don't, cutting away the cancer. So no, I don't worry about being happy. I don't have time to be depressed. Those aren't things that even cross my mind. My thought process is fixing my family, and therefore doing my part and exuding as much power as I can within the community, within the ability that I have the ability to do, which fortunately for the business that I'm in, I have the ability to do that. So my focus is on fixing things, fixing school boards, fixing the policies in my area, actually meeting with politicians and figuring out how all these quote unquote rich people out here are going to be living their lives. Those are the things that I'm focused on. I am not focused on being happy. Now, with that, what I was saying earlier is there are certain rooms that you will not get into without a wife or a girlfriend. They do not let lone wolves into these rooms. When I'm sitting here having these meetings, my chick is talking with the other chicks. We're scheduling dinners. We're doing business over dinners. Like, there's places you're not going to be able to walk into. And I understand that everybody on YouTube's getting to the bag and rich, but like, how many of you are affecting policy? Because if you're rich and I'm telling you what your kids are going to be learning, and I'm influencing what your policies, what your millages are, then what does it matter? We stop at being rich. We focus on being happy. Every other culture out here is competing, and we are not. We are not doing what's necessary. If you want to be happy, do what's necessary first. Somewhere down the line. But
we got Juneteenth. Hey, we got another holiday. What you mean?
That's the last thing we got. That's the last thing we got. And we ain't got nothing since.
Wait a minute. Too many people got shot at this weekend. We can't claim that. Don't do that.
I mean, we haven't gotten anything since. What have we gotten since then? Only thing we're good at is getting out in the street and crying. Like, that's all we're good at.
Actually,
that's our power.
We cry on the dust panels now, but continue.
Hey, I mean, have you had E-Black over on your panel yet? I mean, you bring Pearly over there, he'll cry at her publicly. That's y'all's kings. Like, what are we talking about?
What are you talking about?
I mean, so what I'm saying is, what I was saying earlier when I was saying marriage is a business decision is
a business decision. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. The business aspect of it.
Okay.
Is we have to be focused. We can't be focused on happiness. We need to be focused on power. We need to be focused on fixing our situation. The only way that gets fixed is with power. There's not going to be a bunch of happy Negroes running around that's going to make things better. We've been doing that for a long time, and we're still having these conversations. We're still affected by the same things because everyone else is doing what's necessary, and we're talking about being happy.
So, Reckless, did you think we were the happy bunch over here?
I think that when we have people that have been married for 30 years and aren't understanding what's going on at the ground level within the community that these young men are facing, because like, I'm happy that I'm not in the dating market. Very happy. It's garbage. And these guys are dealing with a lot of stuff to the tune to where it's like when it's very dismissive to go, oh, well, you know, I have a covenant marriage. That's beautiful. And I'm not going to discredit that, but like, you are a rarity. Everyone wants a you. There's one of you. like there's a small, minute percentage, just like how everybody wants a high value man. There's 1% of those. Where are they at?
I believe that because I actually believe that being a wife is a very exclusive club. I don't think there's a lot of us out there. So I agree with you with that. But the ones who want to, are willing, I'm trying to give it to them. I don't think my husband is plentiful either. Yeah. I don't. Because he's willing to, you know, I hear him doing things or see him doing things, and I hear other men speak, just like Scam said. And the things that other men may entertain, my husband wouldn't dare entertain. So I absolutely know I have a good thing, and I appreciate that. But going back to what you're saying, I absolutely believe that the nuclear family is the answer. Once we have that, which starts, like you said, at your door or at our door, once that happens, we build the community, then the culture should come next. But again, you're right. We are dealing, and we love to deal in trash. And absolutely, for some reason, we seem to think as Black people, we don't deserve anything good. And that's where we are. We don't deserve it. If something is good, if you have a wedding, not a wedding, a marriage, what have you, and it's good, and you're not miserable and things of that nature, then it's not real. It's a lie. So we have to be in miserable marriages. We have to be in sexless marriages. We can't like our husbands. It's always has to be something negative attached to the Black community. And I'm just trying to be that one to say, no, you can create your reality, and it doesn't have to be that. So that's where we are here at SB Nation. That's the message. And Shushu's the only one that was happy.
That's right.
She's like,
you know what I'm saying?
Don't nobody else care about no happiness over here. We're trying to just be good and have joy and peace and where we at.
I care about that happiness.
Scam. See, the two single people would have what?
Not a community anyway. That's their problem. Nation of Wigwam took.
Well, I mean,
like the time. I just have to interject. I think when we start having this conversation about where we are as I guess an ethnic group, we continue to discount all the efforts that our people have made to quote unquote pull ourselves up by bootstraps that we never were given in the first place. You know what I mean? Time after time, we've been shot down. So it's like at some point, it's like once people just fall back or give up, and like, all right, well maybe we need just to fall off of this.
Did you go to college?
Of course.
Oh,
HBCU.
That's beautiful. That's okay.
No, I'm talking about from civil rights movement to Black Wall Street to we've made a lot of different movements, a lot of different efforts to pull ourselves up, quote unquote, like I said, by the bootstraps that we had to make ourselves. But time after time again, we have our efforts have been destroyed. And we have always tried to come and build ourselves back up. So you can't discredit like all the efforts that our ancestors have made. Like we can't do that.
My question is, I don't think it's a discredation, but like when you say that, you say it from the standpoint of like, oh well, we tried, and like now there's an excuse. You survived.
No, we tried.
There's literally, but
so it's not like we tried once. We tried time and time again, and it's always something.
We're still here, Shushu. That's not something that you take lightly. When you know what I'm saying? Like you're saying it as though like, oh look, we tried. Like you can't discredit that. It's not a matter of disputing
I'm saying like, okay, so
it's a galvanizer.
Like, it's the equivalent of not even building a mansion, but you building like a 3-story house, 4-story house, and each time it gets wiped all the way out. I mean, you starting from scratch. You got to rebuild a foundation. You got to get the wood, the lumber, everything all the way over again. So if you keep starting all the way over again, it's going to be kind of hard for you to get ahead.
So what I was saying was, so trauma, and I understand your perspective on this, trauma destroys women, it galvanizes and builds men. There's no excuse for weak men then, from what you've just said, because we are still here. That is so important. So like when I look at Black Wall Street, because I'm very educated on that version of Black history, I don't necessarily care for the slavery stories because I wasn't a slave, never met one. So but like the Black Wall Street stuff, that stuff that it was like the government enacted this. One of the key things that you left out was they killed all the people who set that up. They cleaved a lot of knowledge from our community. But again, it's 2023 and we're still here. So back to my question about you going to college. So I never had that privilege. Okay. I own a business. I'm in high-end audiovisual. We deal in $1 million and up mansions. I worked my way into a partnership position, getting ready to launch another logistics business. And I never went to college. There's no excuses. I come from a single mother home. I'm a product of a single mother. Very strong one. She did the best she could, and she made me. We have access to everything, and nobody's coming through and destroying all of our stuff now. The 6 men that are normally gunned down that we get upset about every year, they're not businessmen. They're not. These are facts. So
Here's
there's
the thing.
nothing in our way now.
Something that is required. It's a character trait that is required to achieve what you have achieved.
Yes.
Part of that is there has to be a certain ambition. There has to be opportunity. Opportunity is the biggest thing. You talk about somebody who's in the entertainment business and somebody who knows how to hustle. You hear me? I know how to hustle. And so it's not that sometimes you can have all the hustle in the world, you can have all the talent in the world, you can have everything you need except the opportunity. And everybody just doesn't have access to the opportunity. So you can't shoot everybody and knock everybody down because they don't have access to the opportunity or they haven't been granted that.
But what about the everybody else who's not the 1% then? Because none of those people had, like, I'm not a 1% yet. I'm not
right. Let's be honest. You're a very intelligent man. You know everybody ain't gonna make it to the 1%. That's why the 1%.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I mean, all that is, we call that luck, but that's when preparation meets opportunity, and you're prepared for it. There's plenty of people who get the opportunity that aren't prepared. That's also a factor. But like you said, like, everybody's not going to make it. What I'm saying is we have to get to a space to where, like Security Boss is advocating, you should be the best wife that you can be. You should be the best husband that you can be. When I'm saying that you should think through everything logically, and I'm like, I did the math on it for what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go and the rooms I need to get in, I need to have a wife. So even if I get divorced, like I said in the chat, like it was going by really fast, but I was like, I have $0 million right now. I'm assuming that with a wife, I know that I can crest 10 million. That's my thought process. I can make $10 million. If I get divorced, I have $5 million. That's a win. She can have half of it. I'm ahead. Like, what are you talking about? And look, if worse comes to worse, I'm still going to be in good shape because that's my character. I'm going to be able to go out and replace her. Like, I'll be richer too. Like, there's no drawback for me for where I'm trying to go. The issue is the rooms I need to get into. That's a prerequisite. It's solving for the problem.
Strategy for you is more of a business strategy.
Are you willing to put,
go ahead.
Are you willing to put all your money in one pot with your wife?
Minus the stuff that I've built before we get married, yes.
Okay, so
because she's entitled to half of that. So like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So from the time that you all get married, you're all with putting money in one pot.
My chick says
that and everything.
Yes.
You got.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
My chick says all the money that she has now is my money.
Oh, I like. Well, no, I'm talking about bringing it to the table.
You're not married. You're not married. She's talking, man. Yeah, go marry her, boy.
No, I gotta have an option of couches if stuff don't work out. It's gonna have to be at least 2.
No, listen, if you, I don't know, if you're willing to put it all in with your wife and she's willing to put it all in with you, it's well, I can't imagine it not working out. I know things happen though. So
Security Boss. One of the things that I personally advocate for, I believe in divorces. I don't believe in trying to like hide stuff from your wife. Why would you want the person that you chose? That's if you have kids. I'm assuming that most married people are going to have kids. You split up and you're trying to put her in a position to where she's destitute. I don't believe in that. I'm like, the stuff that you built together, you should want her to not only that, my chick's going to be set up from the get-go. Like as soon as we get this thing rolling, she's going to have her investment set up exactly the same. She's going to have everything exactly the same that I got. So that way, if she does leave, there's not going to be a reason for her to come after some extra stuff because she's going to have everything that I've got. I'm like, if I'm set up in investments, you're going to be set up in investments. When I get set up with private banking, you're set up with private banking.
But like, Reckless is not going nowhere. Don't think that way.
I understand, but I want her to. I don't ever want anyone who talks to her because I do let her do what she wants because she knows I'll leave. But but I don't ever want someone to come at her and be like, "Oh, you're stuck here because like he controls all the finances." She's gonna be like, "No, I got my own money that's making money. Like if I wanted to leave, I could be up out of here." And I'm like, I don't believe in that level of, oh, she's got to be dependent on me so I can keep her. Like, I don't need to keep her. She needs to want to stay. She needs to respect me. She needs to be under the covering and want to be there.
But she needs you, though.
Well, 100%. Her life's going to be a million times better with me in it. But like that's a given if you're doing what you're supposed to do as a man. You should be a value add as well.
Let's just keep it right there. She needs you. Women and men need each other. What's wrong with just keeping it right there? It doesn't have to be what you want, because it's gonna be sometimes you're gonna want her to get out your face. And then
100%.
so just keep it at a need. We need each other. We need each other for whatever reasons. We need everything, because that's the purpose of us being here, being married. God made us. He made it her, you first, and then her. So now we need each other. Let's make it work. And just keep it there.
I'm only good at two things: protection and provision. She's better at me at everything else. Those are my two jobs. I got two jobs. All the rest of the jobs are hers. Like, y'all are better than we are, technically speaking, if you find the right one. Like, it's just what it is. Y'all are better at so much more stuff than we are. We're only good at two things. Why are y'all trying to compete with us at the two things we're good at? Like, I don't see the point.
Reckless, where's the smoke you had for me? I need to know. Where's the smoke?
It was only a little bit of smoke, because we went through the Bible verses and you was saying that we got to stay with the chicks after they turn into whales, and I'm like, this is not if that's the set expectation that you made before you got into this. We got a no whale household. You can't be one either.
I shut that down. 300 Oreo minute.
How come people don't hear what I say? He might turn into. She don't have to turn into the whale if you putting that time in along the way. You don't turn into a whale on one day, from one day to the next. Turn into the whale takes some time. So why are you not your wife amongst that time? Oh, well, listen, Beans said, can you play? Hey, Beans said, can you please talk about Exodus 21:10?
I posted that one already.
The women, right?
He's talking about the ball. I posted that one too. Security boss.
He's talking about. I know that scripture about. I know that.
God ain't saying nothing about that. Listen, don't we right now in present time do whatever the heck we want to do, and God ain't pleased with it? Don't we still do it? But we want to say, oh, the women had all the concubines and all. Yeah, they did what they want to do. It's a way of life. The Bible is a way of life. Y'all know that,
the
right?
scripture say, security boss?
What it say? Yeah, no, I don't know.
If a man marries another woman, he must not deprive his first wife from food, clothing, and marital rights. If he does not provide her with these three things, she is to go free without any payment of money.
Right. So when I say to men the other day, you got to take care of these women for life. It is basically sometimes you got to take care of women for life. But that was back then. We talking about now, y'all. And we know y'all can get divorces, but nobody gets divorced. I'm just kidding. I know people.
I was like,
but anyway, I'm just saying I don't believe in divorce. I want everybody to get married. If you invest in that kind of time, I want y'all to stay married for life. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just goofing when I say that. But again, I do know it also says a man marries a woman, and then they get divorced, and she's not dead. He takes on another one. He's an adulterer. So it says all of that too. So you have to figure out where you want to fit in, and I say stay with the first woman if possible.
100%. Why would you want to do that twice? You got to learn you got to relearn a whole new person. That's the reason when I talk to dudes who are like, oh, I'm dating multiple chicks, I'm like, that sounds nightmarish. That sounds terrible. Women are awful. Like you gotta find one you can deal with, and you out here just in the swamp finding all the bad ones. Like,
wait a minute. Hold on for a minute. So Beans, you wanted him to talk about that scripture a whole lot. Are you trying not to take care of the woman? Is that what we're trying to get rid of? I mean, is that what it's about?
They picked the wrong ones. They picked the wrong ones, SD. They picked and I hate to use that terminology, but I'm like, bruh, like if we went through the track record of these scorned men, I'm like, how do y'all have exes and y'all just hate them to death? Like, that sounds awful. You dated an awful person. Like, I'm sorry.
I heard Ricky Smiley say that.
Why do y'all not want to take care of us, though? I don't understand. What is the problem?
Ricky Smiley said that. Ricky Smiley said if he's dating a woman and they've been serious, when they break up, he pay her rent for a year. In any apartment she want to move in, he makes sure she has a car. And he makes sure all her bills are paid for a year.
Trey, no, I was just kidding. Trey, that's not what it says.
How you got that? Said the Bible uses the word perpetuity.
Trey, not exactly, sir. Not exactly.
Or the severance package. I don't know.
Trey,
oh my goodness.
Trey is going crazy. Trey, that was just a joke, kind of, sort of. I joke.
Trey
Oh,
got
let me read these super
PTSD.
chats first. Let me read these super chats. But listen, I don't know what's wrong. Mr. Boss is gonna take care of me for life, y'all. I don't know. You get your woman take care of for life. Because I am
I
going to
don't think
take
y'all
care of
ever. Y'all are never getting divorced either, though. So like that's
Never.
different. Like I don't think you
one
out
way
here
or the
happy.
other.
You
One
be
way
up
or
here
the other.
glowing,
So
yelling
listen,
at these women, like telling them what the business is.
do I do that? Let's see.
You get to them. I've seen your stuff, SB.
I be getting okay. We go shoot.
Okay.
I don't do that. Anyway, realize how y'all say men and women complain about marriage, but never say husbands and wives complain about marriage. Marriage isn't for the deceitful. You know that it's not. Thank you so much, JoJo. And here we got here Ray Alexander says, SBU, do you believe that the leaders of our churches should preach and emphasize the importance of marriage and family to boys, young men, and adult men? Absolutely. It should be a whole Sunday dedicated to being married.
Hell yeah.
Because you know what? They yes, absolutely. But they need to get in deep though, because y'all always have that sex thing is always a huge issue. Women need to talk to women about sex and let them know it's okay to have sex, especially with their husband. My God. And all that needs to be tackled. It needs to be turned over. Women need to be honest about how they feel about it, what their thoughts are about it, why they feel differently. All that needs to be turned over and talked about. We don't need to go into marriages feeling like sex is nasty. That is like so crazy. I don't even understand. They need to learn their bodies, excuse me, not bottoms, their bodies. They need to know about orgasms. They need to know about all that before they go into marriage and feel comfortable with it, even if they got to have like some toys or something. Not those type of toys. Yeah, I'm talking about simulators.
Like a
whatever.
Barbie and a Ken doll, you know.
No, not exactly like that, but something.
No, okay.
Something.
Well.
Something. We gotta have something. JoJo says there's two marriages in the world. One under the Heavenly Father covenant, based off of and two based off worldly lies and deceit. That's that business thing, right? It's a lot of pastors in marriage. Number two, there's a lot. I mean, because churches now are a lot about that prosperity message. So that's what happened. But y'all also know that this world is like, money is like the God now. So
it's a tool. It's nothing more than a tool.
It should be a tool, but now people are really on money. If you ain't got money at that present time, you are no good.
And it's a lie.
I do know that.
Yeah, 100%. It is a lie.
I agree with you, Stan, on that one, buddy.
So, Mr. Gilbert, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He said, SBU, you should start a dating show. Start with saying. So listen,
yeah, baby.
Do y'all not remember my dating show? I Choose You. Y'all got to go back and look at SB Nation and go to my videos. I had a dating show, I Choose You, and it was very, very good. We had a fun time, y'all. It was good.
That's right. The help meets meet up.
She's gonna help beats me. I got you. Ain't that right? Shoot. I got you. Now wait a minute. Shoot, you crazy?
Oh boy, that was hilarious, boy.
Wasn't that hilarious? XDMC, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right, sister. Hello to the panel, and it's been a while since I jumped up on one of your panels.
I know, and before you go any further, you got to shout out your 30+ year marriage. Don't let these people give it to them right.
It'll be 34 years successfully married. I always like to put the success in there. I don't like to say happily because I'm happy. I'm one of those people that it's hard for me to say happy, that I'm happy when there's so much going on around me and people are not. It's almost like it's like if I'm eating, I feel everybody in my community should be eating if they putting in the work. That's the key, putting in the work. You don't come for a handout eating for free or whatever. But I've been married, and I think I look at my marriage all marriage as a one-off book, one printing but my book works for me. But there are chapters in my marriage that you can read that are similar to other chapters in other people's marriage that can help you. I was married younger. I'm 57. I have no shame in saying that, and it's been a good journey, a good ride. And this is when you pick right, which I'm like, reckless. I hate saying that because I didn't really know what I was doing. I just know this sister had it going on. She had this innocence that I felt I needed to protect, that I want. She was a good listener, and we build together. She's been a stay-at-home mom. She's been a stay-at-home mom once we had kids. You know, we had our kids late, but once they all grown now, and she is a phenomenal mother. Phenomenal. You know, but I made sure I gave her the environment and the tools to do her thing. You know, I married her when I had no money. We have money now, you know, and it's all good. And the journey has been an interesting one in this, that there's one story I do want to share, and that is I've been the provider, still am the provider. She held the household down. I've been out there doing what I had to do. Then cancer hit me. And it hit me hard. And it took me down. It took me down to where I was writing my obituary.
This is the important thing. Listen, guys. Listen. Go ahead.
And when it took me down, she was like, we got this. We got this. And she was the definition of that ride and die. I mean, she was with me during the battle, and I'm not an easy patient. I'm not. I'm going to put that out there now. I was not an easy patient, but I got you. I got this. You had me all these years. You took care of this all these years. We in this together. I was like, damn, wow. And the recovery part touches on what you was mentioning earlier about sexless marriage. The recovery part, listen, I wasn't dropping it. Like I had to recover. Thank goodness everything is good now, and you know we back. You know it's all good. But thank God. But she didn't have a problem with that. Because we in this together. That was the key. We was in this together. And now I'm back on my game. You can't watch it. You can't watch network TV without seeing my work. A commercial that I worked on. It's impossible at night. You can't. There are blockbuster movies out there. The storyboards and stuff and some of these scenes. Transformers movie out now. Yeah, I'm toting my chest. I worked on that. And what I do, I make sure I go to the schools. When I say schools, not the colleges. I go to the elementary schools, the high schools. Because see, in order to be it, sometimes they need to see it. And I let our kids know that they are careers out here. Movies don't get made by the actor just walking on saying a line. There are things, I've been very successful being behind the scenes. You know, and the writer's strike, none of that stuff affected me. No, I shouldn't say that. Yes, it has, because there was a project I was working on. I was kind of pissed that that's not happening. But anyway, but I'm good. You know, but I want these kids to know that what a producer is, what a project manager is, what a storyboard artist is. When somebody tell you, oh, you draw, that ain't no way to make no living. No, let me tell you, yes, it is. Look at this house and car that I got. That is a way to make a living. And I'm there to show them, and you can get in even though you look like me. Has it been hard? Yes, it has. But I knocked those doors down, boom, 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 boom. Like Sammy Davis. Somebody got to be in it. So I just wanted to share that, you know.
Thank you
I got
so
a
much.
question for you. I got an extra question. During those times during the cancer situation.
Yes, sir.
How long was the initial beginning to the end? Like, was there years in between that? How long was that process?
Well, right now I'm 3 years cancer free.
Okay, and when you were going through it, how long did you have it?
That was a 4-year battle. A 4-year battle with I couldn't cam up. that's how bad it was.
Yeah. And do you think that was, let me just ask you this as a man,
Sure.
Ben, do you think during that process, if you guys were led by the pure thought of happiness, where do you think your marriage would have been if in that moment? No, because what I'm saying, Scam, is in some marriages, people deal with happiness, but when the struggle comes, people look at it completely different.
Yes.
Right? You see,
run.
so you hear this man, Scam, he's 34 years in.
People get
That's
up and
not
run.
what I was referring to. It.
No, not you.
No, they get scared. They get.
It happens though.
And
It does
like, hey,
happen.
I ain't signed up for this.
Exactly.
This is too much. You mean
Mhm.
you messed up right now. I ain't signed up for this.
Exactly.
You know, but that didn't happen. And you know what's weird though? In my head, I was wondering if it was going to, and I felt bad that I even let that thought go there. But I guess I'm human. But in my head, I was wondering if it was going to go there. You know, life insurance ain't no joke. So she would have been taken care of. And I'm like,
Wow.
really? But she
Wow.
said, out of her mouth, she said, listen, I was with you when we had, and I love this, she said when we had nothing.
Come on.
Now, we're all right. And I'm not going to, she told me, you drove us here. Yeah, she supported, supporting, took care of the kids, etc. And I had to go away a lot or whatever, but we did it, and I actually like being with her. I like being around her. When we was going through the pandemic, people get on the screen when we have our meetings, and all I would hear is, oh man, I can't wait till this pandemic is over. I can't wait. I can't stand being Darren. How you doing? That's my name, by the way. I just gave my government. I don't care. Darren, how you doing? I'm fine. I don't mind being in here with her.
Can I interject real quick? When he's talking about now, that's what I was referring to when I said happiness in a relationship.
Mhm.
When he said, I like being around my spouse, I like being in the house around my spouse, that's the happiness I'm talking about.
And I do have friends who are married and been married a long time. And the one thing I do have that I'm very fortunate is that when I met my wife, she noticed that, man, you got a lot of friends from high school. And all the friends that I've had that are still with us from when I was in high school till now, I'm friends with them today. They were part of me. So when you married me, if it's going to be one of those relationships or one of those things where we get married, you can't have any female friends, then I picked the wrong one, because I can't be with no one like that. Because those sisters were friends with me before. I ain't trying to sleep with nobody else. I ain't trying to get with nobody else. That's where the trust come in. Just like I trust her with her childhood male friends. And guess what? It works for us. Now, do that book work for everybody else? No, it do not. It does not. But it works for me and us and my marriage.
See, Anissa, it works for some people. Don't work for me, but it worked for some. He's a good example. They've been married 34 years. Congratulations. And listen, I appreciate your story. I appreciate you coming up here sharing it. I told you last time you were here, we want more people like you. I think I told you in the comments that we want more people like you that can share a good marriage story to come, because we don't hear enough of it,
I will say this too. Reckless touched on it. When I mentioned it in the comments, I'm very thankful, because if I had to be out here today,
come on, boy.
If I had to be out here today, see, there was no TikTok and Instagram and Facebook when I got in.
Dearly beloved.
Yep.
If I was out here today, wow, and it's everybody. It's not. I'm not pointing fingers at just the women. I have to say the women, because that's what I'm into. That's who I would be looking for today. But I see some stuff out here that's like, wow.
So let me ask you this, X, before we get out of here. So right now, do you understand the man you was when you met your wife, when you said you had nothing, and then as the years progressed, you ended up becoming very successful? Mm-hmm. Do you understand today that you will not be a man that women would want to be with? in your beginning stages, when you have nothing.
That's not true.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
true.
It's true.
I gotta agree with that, especially consider that I was I was cool. I was in the hip hop scene at the Fever with LL and all. I know all
Come
of
on,
them
man.
personally, but I was considered, I guess they would say, a geek with the I got the Batman shirt, a nerd, or whatever.
Right. Come on.
But I let people know immediately, we run this. They ain't a device you can be on right now that a geek ain't come up with, that a nerd ain't come up with. Ain't no shame in that. I'm the coolest, probably one of the coolest ones. But hey, I wear my nerdness with a badge of honor. I love Star Trek and I love Star Wars and I love Black history. It all goes together in my book.
Yeah. I just thank God for your story, man. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable with your story, brother.
Yeah, we thank you so much. Don't be a stranger. Come back when you can.
I definitely will.
Thanks.
Peace,
so
everyone.
listen, we need to make sure that our ladies know that it's okay to build with a man as long as he's a man that has a plan that can actually build. Y'all already know my story because me and Mr. Boss did that. So
yeah.
He's like, like no.
Yeah, I got mild pushback.
Not 2023.
Yeah,
No,
I mean
that's absolutely not true.
In 2023, you gotta have that foundation, the walls up, ceiling about damn near done.
What's not true, Scam? Let me hear it.
The talking point, he got to make all this money because the money, or she won't build with. That's not true at all.
Well, Scam, I don't know if it's actually true or not, but I do know the ladies they say that they don't want you to, they want to have you need to be together. They don't want to deal with you. That's what they're saying. I don't know what they're going.
Scam, what woman you gonna get with?
Not a lie, bro.
In 2023.
Wait a minute, black man. Wait a minute. What did you say, Scam? Let me make sure I hear them correctly. Say it again, Scam.
It ain't true. Here's the deal. The very dudes who keep recycling them talking points, you see them in the spaces, they make $100,000-$200,000 a year. That means she doesn't like those. That means these women don't like them dudes, regardless of their money.
You're talking about people on YouTube saying they have $200,000 a year with no contacts. Okay,
right?
No, Cam,
I'm
not
talking about goofballs.
I'm not talking about
you have better chances of getting struck by lightning than being on YouTube with two people that actually make $200,000.
Right? They have no proof of that. No,
like you got better chances of getting caught by the Taliban right now at your house.
You know what?
Damn, I'm talking about women telling me directly that men need to have it together. They don't want to build with nobody. They call it struggle love. They don't want that.
Right? They don't want struggle love.
Security roles.
Yes.
Do a lot of these women have children?
It just comes left and right. No, a lot of them be single, I believe.
A lot of these women have children.
No, they don't.
Have children with these $200,000 men that appeared out the sky.
No, listen, I'm not saying they ask for $200,000 men. I'm just telling you that they say that they don't want to build with a man. I'm not saying they are saying he needs to have 100 or 200,000. They just say they don't want to build. They prefer him have his ish together and then have them come in and take care of it.
And that's why the marriage channels don't
actions speak louder than words.
No, scam.
But that's why the marriage channels don't get no love. You know why? Mm-hmm. Because you have stories like that, men. And you know what? When I was like the whole Denzel Washington thing, Denzel was like, I was broke, didn't have no money, I couldn't afford a taxi. He said, we were broke as shit, living in an apartment with a leaking roof. He said, but my wife paid all the bills while I went through college and acting school. Everything. He said she paid for everything and didn't complain. He said now that woman don't have to ask for nothing. Whatever she say is hers. She said Right, Mari Hardwick too, same thing.
Because like people was like ragging on his wife, talking about she was ugly and stuff like that, and he was like, "Listen, first of all, y'all gonna get off my wife. She was there for me. Like, I had nothing,
$0.
I was just struggling. Like, she was taking care of everything."
Anissa say a younger woman can build. She's saying a younger woman would build with you, but I guess when you get to a certain age, you should have a certain amount of things established. So I guess she's kind of correct about that too. You know, you need a man. He's 40. He should have.
If you go in your city, you go to the apartment complex. You're in North Carolina. You in Dallas.
Yeah.
Go to the apartment complex next to where you live. 9:00 p.m. Because those dudes, I guess, they're not rich, so they don't have any women. So you mean you'll see all men and you'll see all women on another side, right? Or you see married people going into one bedroom.
No, those are called hobosexual, Scam.
Right.
They can't live alone.
I'm not
So
talking
they got
about
to split rent.
Right. I'm talking about people that have $0 today.
I give up.
Say for instance, Shushu, right?
Talking Point Mafia wins.
Bro, so
right.
let's take.
It's the truth.
Hold on. It's not a talking point though. You
Not
just don't
even
like to
close.
listen. You don't like to listen, but it's okay. We got you. So Shushu, if Shushu was about to marry a guy and Shushu was making let's say $600,000 a year, and this dude come up there, he's nice, he's genuine, he's a good dude, and he tell her, like you always put in the chat, Scam, about the bus drivers. If he's real nice, they get to talking, and he say, hey, shoot. So what do you do? And they get to talking. He say, you know what? I drive buses for the city. Now I'm not saying she would throw the man away. I'm just saying a woman in today's terms would be like, oh, okay, and she'll probably do a little bit more investigating. How much do you make? $45,000 a year, and she making $600,000. Is she going to build that man up and help him get to a point where they can be on the same level, or is she going to look down on him and be like, no, I'm moving on?
I mean, if you need to be right, then you're right.
It's a question.
All of a sudden. So
I'm saying it's a question.
Right.
It was just a question. If a woman makes more than a man, let's say anything, it could be 60,000, 25,000. If she's making 60,000, he's making 25,000. Let's just go down to average people. Would it be okay for her to help that man build, or should that woman run for the hills?
You want the truth, or you want the talking point answer?
I want the truth.
The truth is this: when women like you, they don't even talk about money half the time. Only the goofballs run around with this briefcase.
Exactly. That's what I just said. Goofballs. I just said it.
No, hold on. Here's the point. If they like you, you don't sit and talk about money all the damn time. That's YouTube. That's the talking points. If they don't like you, it don't matter how much money, it still ain't gonna work.
Also true. But my question
like
is this:
people keep telling you, just Jedi Mike just got married, but I guess somehow he's making $500,000 a year all of a sudden, and she saw it and said, "Are you on your purpose, sir?"
No. Him and his wife are definitely building together.
Absolutely, they are.
They're both young people.
But what does Jedi have that most other men in his position and his income level don't have? He has a platform. He has stage and lights. And this is coming from somebody who I wasn't always a business owner, Scam. So like I used to travel for breakdancing. Like I still do that professionally. Well, I am talented. Yeah. So when I was broke, I could still pick up chicks at the club, and I could ride that out for about 6 months to a year of attention.
Wait a minute, hold on. Trey say, Tina, you want to get married? What?
Wait a minute, who is Tina?
What?
Hey.
Whoa.
Trey.
Wait.
Trey done fell for the circle. Trey done fell for the circle.
Didn't I tell you what could happen? You keep hanging out over here.
I'm just curious too. You got to be a high value man, and you can't get no girls. You got to make all this money, but they're on platforms. 60-something% of the women got kids.
And that's what I said.
Putting all these kids out.
I said these 100,000.
You got to be secret high value man in Arizona somewhere, I guess.
That's what I said. Scam. Did I not say that? 100 of these men making a lot of money. They goofballs, and women don't want to mess with them goofballs.
They don't have social skills.
You missed what I said. What I'm saying is this: if most of the women got kids, and a whole bunch of men making money are goofballs, who's making the kids? Regular men and raw dog Ronnies. That means men aren't checking for all these dudes based on money.
So
but women aren't marrying the regular man and raw dog Ronnie, are they?
Scam,
raw dog Ronnie ain't getting married. He making babies.
I got a question. Exactly. Scam, I got a question for you. This is a deep question.
Okay.
Who produced, or how did we come by a Pookie and a Ray Ray? What happened there?
It'd be deep for somebody else, because I'm like, hey, that's their problem. I don't care.
No, tell me. No, honestly. No. I'm not playing a game. I'm serious. I'm trying to get to some solutions to the problems or the issues that we have in our community. I want to know who or how or what produced a Pookie and a Ray Ray.
Multiple things.
You say you don't live in reality, Scam.
I'm listening.
That's cool. But I challenge Eve, go to the apartment complex in your city. Just look around. But anyway, what caused Pookies and Ray Rays? Other Pookie and Ray Ray seniors. Traditionalism. feminism, which was caused by traditionalism. Out of control people, Raw Dog Ronnie, Curve Dick Roosevelt, the Nation of Wigwam, a bunch of people that I don't really talk to. That's their problem.
So you're saying men caused Pookie and Ray Ray.
Men cause everything.
So how do we fix it?
The truth.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
Ma'am, I'm not trolling you. We don't do that over here. I'm trying to have a conversation. Let's let it flow.
The truth is you don't. They said they're going to do what they're going to do.
No, that's not an answer. We have a problem.
You focus on the children.
If men produce, if it's a man's fault that there is a Pookie and a Ray Ray systemically, or they left the house or whatever the situation is, how do we fix it?
I don't.
Do we blame the woman? We don't fix it. You don't fix it. You don't have nothing to do with it.
Let me just be real. I'm not fixing it. That's their problem. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
There you go.
So you're just going to be out here in these streets and definitely dealing with the collateral damage and the baby mama stuff. Like, that sucks.
No, I'm not going over there. That's the Nation of Wigwam. I'm not there. I'm over here somewhere.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm over here somewhere.
So you do know that this could cause a major. Okay. Hey, Andrea, how you doing? I know I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, or trying to get some solutions to it, because I really think, because the most time we hear that, women are the problem. Women are always the problem. Y'all know, y'all say this, and women are the problem with Pookie and Ray Rays. But the reality of it is, I think the men maybe have called the Pookie and Ray Rays, and then the women took it over and mastered it. So I'm just trying to figure out, how do we get back to where men can be men, the leaders and authority, and take the situation out of build it back up to where it should be, so we can actually have a community. That's all I'm saying.
They said no.
Who said no?
Nation of Wigwam, Marquavius and Darquan and them, they said no.
Marquavius.
If you've drug them down and threw a suit on them, they're going to turn back and be who they are.
So wait a minute. Trey said men are the problem. Is that what Trey said?
Both had a problem, but it was created by men.
Trey, help us out then. If tell us who you think created the Pookie and the Ray Ray. I would love to know, because I think it's definitely systemic, and I do think men not being in a home are the answer, or was the beginning of it. But you tell me, if you got something else. I really don't care who created it. We need to be aware of what's going on so we can fix it, because it's still happening. And we act like we don't know. We're still blaming each other for it, but we need to actually get to the root of it and say, hey, look, we need to do something about this. The system the system played a big part in it, but there were a lot of men that left the home too, which matters none. Because right now we have a different situation, or somewhat of the same situation, that is still broken, and ain't nobody trying to fix it. So that's what I'm trying to work on. But I think if we recognize what's going on and see the actual problem, we can fix it. But as long as we try to keep blaming each other, we won't see what's actually going on. Nobody's taking accountability for it. Exactly. The Pookie and Ray Ray situation, and the fact that it was systemic. Women blame men as though they had no choice, or as though the government didn't play a big deal in this. Men blame women because the women are now being incentivized by the government and other things, and no longer want to be submissive or married to them. So what do we do?
Well, here's the thing, security boss. To fix the men, the solutions are right there in front of your face. It's almost in the question itself. Make better men. The problem is that people want results now, today. But this is going to be a long process. Nothing happens overnight. You have to make better men, because largely, a lot of us are just beyond repair. Largely, that's from my observation, watching people on these panels, and people on the panels. I'm like Dusto. These are largely people I would not say hello to on the street. I mean, I just don't associate with people with that kind of mindset. But yeah, you have to make better men. It's not going to happen overnight. It's too much has happened to get us here. Too much damage has been done. We're experiencing too much trauma, and we're not getting therapy for it. We're not. Very, very few people know how to actually treat this kind of issue that we have, or help someone else with it. So therapy would be a solution that would help it. But we're not doing that, because a lot of us see that as weakness. And when it comes to women not submitting, well, I mean, if you look at what they got to choose from, I mean, you can't really blame them too tough. I mean, and with the men, they're right. Women, even the ones who know better, when they're with a guy they can submit to, if it's something that they don't want to do, that's when the submission stops.
Well, you only submit to your husband, but my question I'm having with you, are you saying the first step, if you had to choose one first step, it would be
make better men.
Okay, so when you say make better men, how do we do that? Was that counseling is how you make better men?
Therapy for everyone, period, across the board.
Therapy for everyone.
Period, across the board. Every single one of us. And then you focus on the young men who are their early 20s and below. You know, as far as creating better men. As far as that goes, start with the early 20s and below. Because the earlier you start them, the better the lessons will take hold.
Okay, so while the men are in therapy, what are the women doing?
Learning how to get along with a man, learning how to be wives, learning why as well. Why are these things that you're learning so important? Even if marriage is not something that you want, learning how to manage a household is something that you can use, a skill that you can use, even if you're single. You know to keep your areas tidy. You know to clean dishes, and you know how to fold clothes and things like that. You know how to take care of yourself, like household duties and chores and stuff like that. But people don't want to do that. They don't know how to cook. I mean, it's just basic stuff that people back in the years of yesteryear would learn how to just take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Just survival skills. That's really all it is when you boil it down to it. When you boil it down to where it really is, and they're not even learning that today.
So are you saying we shouldn't push marriage?
You teach marriage. I wouldn't say push it because it's not everyone's going to choose it.
I don't mean like push. I mean, I'm just saying like you use the word therapy first and learning how to be a wife. I'm just saying, I just feel like marriage is the answer. Are you saying that's not the answer right away? Because I do know that there's things that come into being married. I'm not trying to leave that out. I'm just trying to move the conversation along.
I think that marriage is is the answer for most. Because you're going to have a margin of people. You're going to have your sector of people who just don't want to be married.
Okay.
You know, that's just the law of averages. That's just what's going to happen. You know.
Okay.
But I think that's the answer for most people. It's just people just don't know how to do it. They don't know how to be in relationships. They don't know how to be in a marriage. They make a lot of decisions that are very self-serving. They don't even realize SB. They don't even realize that they're doing it. That's the scary part for me. That's the part that worries me. They're doing it, and they don't even realize that that's what they're doing.
They're doing what they were taught to do. How about
Which was nothing. So they left on their own to wing it and just figure it out on their own.
Okay.
I would say another solution. I'm sorry, I just want to jump in. Another solution. If you talk about trying to like get things back on the right track, if we had some kind of media outlet that had enough marketing dollars that could actually compete with the mainstream media and push our own marketing campaigns, that would be a system. I mean, because it's the only way we're going to be able to compete against social media. I mean, because even if we did have enough of people in our community that's out, you know, doing the work, that's actually trying to make an impact in the community, you're still combating a huge powerhouse that's gonna, like, you know, combat everything that we're trying to do. So I mean, marketing dollars of putting out marketing campaigns. I mean, it sounds crazy, but that's the only way you're gonna be able to compete with social media.
So you're saying like a SB Nation with a positive twist?
Yeah.
And also SB,
but you own it though. But you have to own it though.
I agree with her. Listen,
if I may, one thing that I've taken to trying to do is it's because I've noticed it months and months ago. And that's why you see my show take a turn. I'm actually teaching people how to do these things. Like we say, be a man. No one's telling anybody how to do that. So that's why I did Tennis of Manhood. And
what happened?
Like 2 weeks ago, oh yeah, they you know, people don't want to watch that. But here's the thing: 2 weeks ago, the thing that got me is 2 weeks ago, I did a show where the whole show was about teaching people how to think in a different fashion. Because what I've noticed, everybody on these platforms are thinking the same way. They all think the same way. And so I was like, okay, no one's thinking solutions based. So the whole show was an exercise in thinking solutions based. The first thing people came up and did was give an excuse why it can't happen. I said, okay, come up here with if you don't have a solution, don't come on my panel. So the first thing people did, what do you mean no solution? There's no solution to this. You can't fix this. I'm like, that's not the point of the exercise. Just think of a solution and give us that. There is no solution. Well, if you had the answer, what would that answer be? Boom! Here comes the solution, right? Like 3 solutions right out their mouth. So it's how you present the information. It's how we communicate to them to force them to think in a different way. Like just with that one question, I even asked my sister the question early in the show. I was like, if you did have the answer, what would it be? Her mind instantly shifted gears, but no one noticed. And I told her before the show, I'm going to have people give solutions and they're not even going to notice it. I'm going to change the way their mind thinks and they're not even going to realize I'm doing it. And with one question, boom. And with other people, I asked them the same kind of question, but in a different way, boom.
We already know that. We already know that.
I want to make that people's default way of thinking.
Now that sounds like Christmas Eve in Barbados, but let's get deeper.
Much.
Let's get deeper. You know why we need to get deeper, Mandrell? Because man, you talked about this today or yesterday. I don't remember, the days mixed up. But we talked about this already. When Shushu just said is profound about media. You know why media is so important? Because when Mandrell did those shows of, tenets of manhood and talking about all this positive stuff and men need to be this here, YouTube came and said block. And I sent him and I sent him the emails of YouTube saying nope, bye, goodbye, blocked, not gonna be here. Right. And so when you do positive stuff like that, they're not trying to promote it. So what Shushu said is wonderful. If you had your own outlet where you can push these things to compete, because YouTube, we already know YouTube on some other stuff. We're going to put certain people at the top. We're going to put certain people at the bottom. And then the stuff that we don't like that's out here, we're going to turn it all to a negative. We don't care about no tenets of manhood. Block that shit. And that's what they did.
They blocked it. Why was it blocked?
Because it was too positive, SB. I'm giving people the answers on how to be a better person.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they can't have that.
Oh yeah, no.
They characterize it as like some of it said I was bullying,
cyber bullying.
I was like, wait,
I sent it to him.
What? Yeah, and he sent it to me in an email. I read the email and I instantly called him up. I said, "Is this right?" They said where was I bullying? He said, "I don't know, man. You gotta figure something out." Like, what am I gonna figure out? What are you talking about? I just gave it a block of instructions and why you should do these things, why they're important. Because and SB, when you do your show like that, when you start teaching people how to be married, please explain to them why. Because without the why, you don't really have an answer.
Tell me what you mean. I'm missing. I'm confused.
Okay, SB, I want you to, as soon as you're done with this one, I want you to log back in and do a show an hour later. It'll be good. You get 1 million subscribers just like that. And here you go. Here's the thing. Exactly. Why? Exactly. Why would I get 1 million? You don't know why exactly.
Why would I get 1 million subscribers?
I'm giving you what I just did was give you an answer to a problem, but you have no context. You don't know why you're doing it. I mean,
right. I thought you were speaking on. The reason why I'm saying that is because when I talk about marriage, I do tell you why.
Then people aren't getting your message.
That was a bad example. So
because I think I've heard you explain to people why marriage is a good thing. However, people still seem to be missing it. I thought it was just an issue. I thought it was an issue that only I had. I was like, why are people not understanding how do they get that out of what I said? I was very clear, and people get what I thought it was just me, but you get confused too, and I don't see how. You're as clear as crystal with your message.
Well,
I don't understand how people get confused.
They seem to think that even though I give detailed instructions on what a wife should do and why, it's your purpose. If you say I do, they still want to say that I tell people just get married. And that's only because they want to come against what I'm actually saying, and they need whatever kind of ammunition that they can find to say. So they just pick and choose what they want to say. It doesn't mean it's true, but it may keep some people from investigating because this is a huge space of influence. And if you love entertainment, then you will follow that whole entertainment thing and you won't get a correct message. You'll believe that I just tell people to get married instead of me telling a woman why she gets married, why to get married, what to do once she gets married, why, you're covered. I go deep into why a woman should get married, what she does when she gets married, what a helpmate looks like. in the process before she gets married, what she should be doing, preserving herself, cleansing herself, figuring out what kind of relationship she needs to have with the father in order to be a good wife. I go through all that.
I think it's a stretch.
What's a stretch?
If you group the people, marriable people, question mark, just need to learn some more, and then you got out of control. Even if you go to the marriable, the situations are so bad. The drama, trauma, the stuff is just so bad.
Yeah, because we are traumatized.
Let's talk about the marriable people. Now, if you go over, this is why I like dust panels. You hear the stuff. Like some of the stuff I've been hearing come from men's mouth lately. I didn't know it was this bad. I had to go and apologize in 2023 on behalf of my gender for blaming half of this on the woman. And I'm like, I see why they started feminism. I'd have led the movement if I'd have heard these dudes talk. So in 1956, you asked the women to submit to this. I would have died for it.
Yeah,
you asked women to submit to this.
So,
and the dude is
no, guys, please. Let me tell you what make my chin itch. When people keep saying you want women to submit to this, listen. If we coming from, I'm just gonna say this. I know it ain't popular.
You ain't been on the panels,
but I understand. But I'm coming from a biblical standpoint. Any man that says that, any woman that says that, women come equipped that way that are marriageable women. They come equipped. They come equipped to be submissive. They ain't something they got to learn. It's already in them.
Black man, I can put you on a panel in 15 minutes, make you throw your Bible across the room. You'll convert from Islam to Islam after hearing these dudes.
I would.
Now, Black Men Unfiltered. Here's the thing: if you pay attention to even the people I've seen you go back and forth with, and you be running circles around these fellas, but you're not really listening to what they're saying. If you were, you understand how bad it is. Like these guys. I mean, one of them asked me about my sister. I was like, "You think I would be okay with you or any one of you on this panel dating my sister?" What would your daddy say? Well, my dad's dead, so she's my responsibility now. You ain't get past me. I mean, like, there's no way. There's like 2 people I would sign off on to date my sister. You know, it's a handful of people I would sign off on her dating. That's it.
It's not wrong.
And that's based on that's based on their performance on YouTube.
Their character, the things that they say, their outlet, their perception of life, their perspective, if they even have one. Because most people here have a perception, they don't have a perspective. They're just up here talking. And they're just what their minds interpret. That's it. They don't have a real attitude towards any of this stuff. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm just like, it's just who they are as a person. And I think that's what Dusto's going to. These guys can have a lot of money, and these women won't submit and all the stuff that they want them to do. And it's because of the guy that guy is. He can have all the money, but if he's not the dude that she wants as a person, she's not going to give him the submission and everything. But, you know.
All right, so listen, let me go over here to Jay. Is that Jay? Who's talking?
Jay Takashi in the middle down there.
How you doing? Listen, I think Reckless had something to want to say, what he wanted to say, but right after that, I'm going to come to you. Is that okay? All right, go ahead, Reckless.
They're not talking about. So first of all, I don't believe anything that doesn't come with receipts on these YouTube streets. That's the first thing. These dudes will say it. You can say anything online.
Exactly, bro.
I'm like, and most of these dudes that are talking about they're making all this money. I'm like, okay, cool. So like, where are you registered? Like, where's your state registry? Like, if you own something, where's your paperwork? Oh, well, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm like, entrepreneurs have businesses, bro. Like, it's whatever though. But I mean, there's levels to this.
So, hold on, Reckless. Hold on, real quick, Reckless. So why do we keep focusing on these dudes when we know half of them are not even legit? Why do we keep saying
money?
Right. Well, I mean, you can be, but the thing is this though, and what I was going to say was to the point of both you. I'm trying to be on your team, Scam. Dustin, let me talk. Thank you. Some of these guys that actually do have some of that money that had to make it themselves have had to go through this road of getting stomped on, spit on, abused, used, not building and not learning from it. Like they're still trying to date these same women. It's a square peg round hole scenario. These dudes get this money and then they think they're going to go back and make a 304 from the club a wife. That is not a wife. It's just like a pimp named Slickback said. That is not a woman. That is a hoa. Like, and like they don't get it. They don't get it. And that's what they're doing. That's where most of these people are not trying to talk, are not talking to Shushu, and they're not talking to a security boss. They are talking to a chick that's in VIP for free, that's drunk out of her mind, that's leaving with the football player to go get piped down. And they're sitting there wondering, why not me? And then they go and get the money, try to complete the assignment, and then they go back there and they're still not the football player. That's why not you. You not him. You ain't built for it. But you still want it. And I understand. But the reality of it is, at best, you're going to get someone who's looking to extract resources from you after the football teams have their way with it. Just the reality of what it is.
That's true. Now, Reckless, I'm with you on that one. Go ahead, Jay. Add what you're going to add, sir. And how you doing?
Well explained, Ray. Well explained.
Well, first of all, shout out to security boss. It's been a mess. I've been on the channel.
I know. Have you gone over to Japan yet?
No. I got everything I need actually.
Okay.
It's just a matter of me planning it out now. I'm going for a visit first, and then I'm coming back, and then after that, we'll be getting the movie. Trust me.
All right, sounds good. All right. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to catch you a little bit.
But that is going to happen.
All right.
It always mystifies me how you go to these extreme, I won't say red pillars, but you go to these extreme like nutcases and you listen to them. I don't know why not you specifically, people that buy into that. Because the thing is for me is, I've always said this before, you'll tell how a person really is when you put them in a situation they've never been in, and then see how they react to it. That's when you find out what kind of person they really are or what person you are. I've been in those situations. And trust me, there are definitely ones where I stood my ground, and there's ones where I'm like, okay, I have to step back and think about this. This is a different situation than I'm used to. So, but that comes with experience. It comes with education. That also comes with you knowing what you know from others, or you placing yourself in those situations. Is the best way I can actually put it for that one. So when it comes to the pursuit of happiness and relationships, and by the way, I love that you titled that, because what comes to my mind is the Will Smith movie. Every time I keep seeing that title, I can't get it out of my head. Yeah, there's a little
pursuit of happiness. I know. That's absolutely
No, it's a great movie, but even then, there was little to no happiness in that movie. That was more about closure,
struggle,
and things of that nature. And yeah, the struggle of the century for a Black man to deal with.
But Jay, let me say this though. That kind of reminds me about happiness, because he was always fighting and going after something, and that's kind of like how I think about happiness. It's like, that's tiresome. That's what I was telling Shushu when she came up. It's like, I've always got to go after something. Why it can't just be a being thing? Why I just can't be this way and then take in other things instead of me always looking for it. That's what it sounds like. I'm looking.
Because trust me, there's so many sayings and some of the things when it comes to happiness. And I think at this point I've heard every freaking thing in the book. Bit of exaggeration, but I think I've heard them all. I'm hearing multiple ones where it's just like, well, you never realize what you have until it's gone. That's a true one. Well, you have something great. Don't screw it up. That's what we tell dudes, our brothers. Like, you got something great. Don't F it up.
Right.
Is what we would tell you. Or it's of the nature of like, listen. And I say this. I'll say this to all my dudes. You love this woman? Yeah. Okay. She makes you happy? Yeah. You've got all your affairs in order, right? I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be dating her otherwise. All right. And also, have you introduced her to your mother? Yeah. My parents loved her. Now she a person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Most definitely, man. All right, check. What the hell are you doing? Why are you playing around?
Right.
That's what I've told one of my dudes. Why are you playing around? You better get her for someone else, Nadzer. Because like I said, if she's everything you said she is, and there's not even a tweak to make you think otherwise, because you didn't say anything bad, at all, you even hint towards it, then why not seal that? So the thing is, I know people have cold feet. People use, I hear every excuse in the book when it comes to this. It's just like, I think you're just trying to have fun. Because if you weren't, then you've already would have sealed this by now. Because most men who I know that are on that purpose, that just love the woman they've been with, they will definitely, trust me, they will make it legit and tie the knot. We will do that. Us men, because if we love you hard. And if anything, we're gonna want to build something with you, sweetheart. Like I said, I've already got what I need. I want, if I can bring the happiness to you with what I'm bringing towards with you, you bring the happiness, you bring some sort of happiness towards me once we can join together. So
I agree. I agree with
that.
that.
And also the relationship, as it grows, that happiness grows more and more. And I do want to speak about this real quick just before I let it go to anybody else. You ever notice when people say I just want to be happy, but you never heard them use the term make ourselves happy within the marriage. Have y'all heard that?
No,
I've noticed that every woman I've run into that I've been hearing this online, or I've never heard men ever say it. Never heard men say it. I need to hear one dude say it so I can just break that mold. But I've just heard them always say, I just want to be happy. You do realize your mom and your grandma and all of them made themselves happy within the marriage to the men they married. My grandmother did vice versa, and my mother vice versa too. It took them a really while to learn about each other while they were married, but hey, not a divorce.
It's just not a term it's just not a good measuring stick for marriage. Yeah. We just don't say, because there's so much other stuff.
But the thing is, you're sharing your life with the other person. That's what I'm saying. Don't you think you would get to want to know that person even more? You only know what I've just told you. Me just spending time with you won't be enough of a lifetime. Like I said, the lifetime you have is when you're married. That's the journey you're taking. So they were happy. So like I said, you'll probably find out one thing you like about that person, but there's 100 more things you like about that person than you dislike.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he just doesn't like the one thing I hear a lot. He doesn't talk to me a whole lot. He don't tell me he hears my issues, but he don't tell me what he got going on. I love hearing that one. And I just like, well, that means that he's willing to hear your issues, but he'll need to share his issues with you because it's not an issue or a priority. Because if it's not affecting a relationship, affecting what you guys got going on, then it's not so much bad. But it's just kind of like that little nudge you always hear, like I just wish he'd open up. I'm like, nothing's really hurting him unless his dad just died. You got to give him time for that. Be there for him, but you got to give him time to tell you things of that caliber. That doesn't just happen overnight.
I definitely we need to continue to talk about this because I'm advocating for marriage. Y'all know what I think about people being married. So, but listen,
I advocate for it too, by the way. So
you have a what?
I said I advocate for marriage too, just to make sure.
Oh yeah.
But on pretenses that both sides are dating with the intent of marriage.
Absolutely. Wow. Corey, how you doing tonight, sir? Corey, are you still teaching lessons on how I can cross over a little bit?
SB, you're a married woman. I can't teach you those lessons.
In the voice only, Corey.
That would be an intrusion in Mr. Boss's life, and that is not.
Should I talk slower, lower, or deeper, or how should it be?
No, you need to be talking to that man across the table like that, not me.
Okay. All right, Corey, tell me again. What you got to add to this, sir? I'm just kidding with you. You know that, though. Go ahead.
Oh, there's so much chaos going on. I hear all this men that are relationship defective. They talk about other men shouldn't be simps. Well, they're single. What the hell do they know about relationships? I mean, what do they know? Do they have a functioning relationship? I mean, is that the brother code?
No, I don't know. That's what Scam was talking about, though. He was saying that.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, you speak to it because I don't know about that too much.
Well, I just want to say,
that married people know it all and single people know nothing. Then who are the women going to marry?
Well, what I'm talking about is if you have kids, do you simp for your little girl?
Oh, no.
Are you a simp because you love on your daughter?
Well, no, the simp thing, that's just the talking point mafia out of control. By 2023, I honestly don't even know what a simp is anymore.
A simp is a man who wants to do for a woman that does not want anything in return. She's not going to give him anything in return.
No, black man, breathing. If you said I like security bosses smile, you simping all of a sudden.
That's stupid.
No. Everybody who responded to security boss is a simp according to Article 9, Paragraph 4. If you acknowledge a woman, period, even if it's at work, you're a simp now. So good luck to you guys, you bunch of simps.
Look, I think I started a rabbit trail with all that. But anyway. I mean, there's so much nonsense going on. It just, I mean, everybody's sitting around talking about how to be a good man. Well, why don't we just stop talking and just go be a good man? I mean, is a conversation going to fix it, or is action going to fix it? Because you don't change your life by talking. You change your life by what you do. That's what men do. If you spend all your time talking about what a good man's supposed to be, you're still not convinced what a good man's supposed to be. They're obviously not doing it because you spend all your time talking about it, and it's just a circle. I'm talking about the men that are doing it. Mr. Boss knows what I'm talking about.
So listen, we have a video really quick that Black Man sent us from TDV. How long is this video, Black Man?
It ain't long at all. It's short.
We're going to play this video really quick, and we're going to say hello to Dr. Nukumbe. And we're going to let him speak, and we're going to make sure that Corey gets his last thoughts out. And I'm going to say good night, because you know what y'all ain't going to do? Y'all can't keep me up all night all the time. I'm telling you.
Come on.
Really? But let's listen to this video. Come on, let's see what's going on. Oh, what? Oh, okay. Corey, were you done with your statement, sir? I want to respond to you. You are exactly right. There are so many different messages and so many different things in these spaces. A lot of it is just totally entertainment. There are not too many people that are sincere about what they're saying or really even care if people getting married or staying single or what have you. But here at SB Nation, we really want to, and over at Black Men Unfiltered too, we really advocate for being married. And just know that what we're saying, we actually believe it. And you know that. I don't have to tell you that. But we're trying to make sure we have a straightforward message that people can actually follow. And then like tonight, with all the questions that people are concerns that people have about marriage, we really want to make sure that we're giving them some good information. So we want to continue to do that. And this title here, this topic was definitely from Scam. So I'm asking anyone that's here, that's visiting here, to always come up with these topics, because you know what, whatever you all want to hear about is what we want to cover. And this was a good one, Scam. Thank you for that. And Corey, if you have one too, you're welcome to leave whatever you want in the comment section, whatever. We want those type of topics so we can cover the things that you all are interested in hearing about, and not talking points are not just entertainment. Real stuff that you might come up with. We just want to get our insight on, or just have questions about. We would love to just try to take a stab at it. Am I right about that, Black Man?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's see if he can get this video playing. Oh, Dr. Nukumbe, how are you, sir?
I'm fabulous. Pleasure to meet you. It's my first time meeting you, security boss. So a pleasure. Hello to the panel and those in the chat. I won't take long. I've listening to the show and just wanted to offer one perspective. Not everyone believes in it. The psychology route. I work in a few different pockets, or same kind of audience, but different pockets. So I work with sex offenders and people who committed violent crimes, and they've been in treatment with no release plan, no exit plan. Like, they've been in treatment for over 20 years. Now, the reason I say that, I just want you to picture that. So there's a pocket of people, no matter how many prayers or anything that they do, they will not be released back to the community. I work in a hospital with mental people, if you believe in mental health, who no amount of prayers, without medicine or something else, or some Western whatever, they are not getting better. I work with adolescents who are trying to delete themselves, and no matter how many prayers or anything like that, it takes quite a bit of work for them to get better. I mentioned that because all these talking points are wonderful, but since I come from a clinical perspective, whatever happened between the ages of 4 and 8, so this is Adlerian theory back with Freud, whatever happened between 4 and 8, your first love when you first learn how to ride a bike, you can learn to adjust to the new type of bikes. But what you learn first is where you go from there. And it's rare that I ever hear, because it's less entertaining, the mental health component. We are who we are today. We are not going to change without doing the inner work. And that work is going to take a lifetime of awareness. How many people have tried to stop smoking? How many people have tried to diet? How many people have tried to do this and tried to do that? And they keep defaulting. But yet we're just going to jump up one day and magically become husband material. That's not going. It does not work that way. I'm sorry. I know you don't want to. People don't want to believe it. They don't want to accept it. That's cool. But here's what I want you to consider: the male and female. It doesn't matter. The home they grew up in. And if you think about the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, what's been introduced to make it even harder to raise your kids? Big mama is gone from the house. Kids are learning, kids have closer relationship with their iPads than they do with people. They have a closer relationship with iPads. Used to talk, and this is not a 1800 story, but guess what? If we have to learn from our past, so we went from talking on vacations and asking the trucks to toot their horn and seeing cows and calling slug bug to now not saying a word with the headset. And I get it, it's convenience, but that's what we have now, convenience. We don't have marriage, we have convenience. So enjoy the iPads, enjoy the TV screens, enjoy the get out of here, leave me alone. Recreational THC, smoke it away. Hey, have fun, smoke your brains out, do whatever you need to do. But that's what we have, relaxed. We don't have marriage, we have relaxed. I'm not talking about for medical purposes. I'm talking about the people who want to have fun. So the more social media, the TikToks we have here is different than the ones in CHINA. They don't have the bump, rumping, shaking, booty, hip, the twerking, and all that. They're but ours do. So that's what we have. We have booty, rumping, twerking, da da da. We don't have marriages. So I like what Mandrell said, that we have to really not wait. Is it ever too late? No. But does it take a consistent awareness? Yes. I'll land with this. The problem doesn't just stop right here with us. It impacts 1 to 2 generations forward. The same way our 4 to 7-year-old was impacted by our parents, and that parent was impacted by their grandparent and great-grandparent, it goes back 3 generations and it goes forward 3 generations. So you have to start now for planning for like 1 to 2 generations forward. Doesn't mean you can't adjust your behavior. You can adjust your behavior, but it takes a constant awareness. And 1 out of every 4 females gets abused and touched in some kind of way. 1 out of every 4. And in general, there's the hatred for the men. There's the hatred for the guys who keep telling her how beautiful she is, how beautiful she is, how beautiful she is. But yet, how come I'm being treated this way? Or the men who told they're going to be kings, kings, and kings and play in the NBA, but they only grow to 5'2". Well, I guess Spud Webb was able to dunk, but they don't make it to the NBA. So my point is, until we accept the mental health component of it, we can't just bark. We can't just pull our pants up our bootstraps. We just can't magically delicious wake up. We can add prayer, but the prayer helps to strengthen the work that we have to do in order to be better people. That's my 2 cents for whatever it's worth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I agree with you. We definitely have to add mental health to it because it's more plentiful now. I don't know if it's actually that way or we just paying more attention. I'm not really sure what's happening, but I always think that self-reflection is like the best or first thing we always have to do. When you say add prayer to it, I understand exactly what you're saying. In the clinical field, I'm sure everything is really logical. But I can't help but to go back to the spiritual side of it. God is real for me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's also a big component. But I agree with what you're saying. And I think I said something a little bit, not the way you did, no. But you're exactly right. When you're 4, 5, 6, our parents, we are who we are. They shape us and we bring this into our marriages. I agree totally. Totally, I agree. And you definitely have to be compassionate and have empathy for your spouses in order for a marriage to work. This is my thoughts. And once we can accomplish that, we'll be fairly good off. But like you said, it's total consciousness every single day, or as much as you can. You say every day? I agree with you, but I don't know if we can achieve that. But that would probably mean us falling off and having issues when we're sleeping.
Right. Well, if I may add one more piece, we're not looking for perfection. We're all flawed. So I'm not talking about perfection. And what I mean by God is real. And in fact, people should actually go outside of themselves. First of all, because we're never alone. But there's so many people who are angry with God. There's so many people who disconnected their relationship, who they've burned their relationship with God. They've lost faith in God. So I think they need to repair that relationship as well. The relationship with God, the relationship with their spouse, and the relationship with themselves. So those things are absolutely real and they need to be worked on. But I think people lose that. How many of the TikTok videos are about the higher power? How many of these things are about the higher power? We become who we're influenced by, and how much of the work are we willing to do? Especially if it says, and I know she lost her, but especially if the message is, I'm flawed. I don't want to go to therapy. Why are you telling me I have a problem? But please understand the schemas in our brain, the schemas. If we grow up believing I'm not good enough, that goes into your marriage. You're bringing into a marriage exhaustion. You're bringing into a marriage taxing behavior, not just toxic behavior, taxing. Dude, woman, it is work to be with you. We're bringing into the relationship poor communication. We didn't get into a relationship and start having poor communication. We brought that. Our limiting beliefs, self-doubts, hatred for ourselves, we bring that into a marriage. Thank you.
Right. I push mental health all the time because, like I said, I've benefited from it. And when I look at people today, I see nothing but trauma. Like everything I see it's a result of trauma. Like it screams out trauma. You can almost tell what that person has. Some of the things that happened to them in the past, like, okay, this person's been hurt and they've been hurt this way. Don't know who, but someone hurt them in this fashion before. Some of this, and these are people who are not yelling and screaming. They can be talking just as calm, but the things that they say sometimes, you can tell. And that's why I say, if SB, you've known me since I first showed up on YouTube. And I've been saying since day one, if you're black and you live in America, you should be in therapy. Every single one of us. I mean, every single one of you should be in therapy. I knew I was getting out of the Army, so I started, before I got out, I started setting stuff up with the VA to start therapy because I knew I was going to need it. Well, one reason was because my dad told me. He said, "Listen, do this first thing you do." Why do you say that? I've been watching you since you got home. You got PTSD.
Yeah.
Go get therapy. You know what I mean? So before you get out, set that up. And so, yes, sir. You know, but if you're black in America, you need therapy. A lot of the things that were done to us as growing up were just incorrect. They weren't wrong. They weren't right. They weren't fair, you know, and it's just the wrong way. We did a lot of things that were just the wrong way, you know. Do as I say, not as I do. That whole thing. Shut up and be seen. Shut up, be seen, not heard. That whole thing. But you're not. What are you teaching the kids? And then when they grow up a certain way, where'd you get that from? Well, what did you teach them? Largely nothing.
But sometimes, I'm sorry, but sometimes we're not even aware of what we're teaching. Give you an example. If I am the husband and I get a better job in North Carolina, we live in California, and you're only 6 years old. Bless your heart, but the parents make the rules. We're moving. When you're in the back waving goodbye to those kids who in your mind you'll never see them again. The schema goes in the back of your head that you had no choice and you had no voice. And this is called betrayal trauma, meaning this relationship has now been betrayed. And the parents, as much as they love you and however perfect the reason is, we're going to go to a way better situation. But at 6 years old, I don't know that. And the parents not thinking, on the road again. Oh, we can't wait to mess up your brain. So no one is thinking that anyone's doing any harm. But when that kid has betrayal trauma, now going into a relationship, we'll say my wife now, who's telling me blah 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 blah. Whoa, slow down. What's gotten into you? It's not that she was intentionally being rude and mean, but she finally has voice. She finally has choice. So when she was traumatized as a kid, the adult protector in her absolutely refuses to not let her have voice or choice. And when we say sit down and be quiet, that actually repeats the very trauma in the first place, where she had no voice and no choice. We have to be able to talk to them in a way that says, listen, we're not enemies. How do we partner? How do we collaborate? How do we build together so I can be in position to lead and you are not worried about your internal safety? I mean, you love each other and she knows you won't hurt her, but her psychology says, if I don't have voice and choice, we're doomed. And I hear you, husband. I'm not trying to do this on purpose, but they're unaware because it was a childhood trauma.
Yeah, that was another point I made. Also, is that a lot of times they're not even aware that they're doing it. That's why I say like therapy is important. But people, they think they're okay. They think there's nothing wrong. It's because they're not noticing. And then say they go to you guys know she's married our siblings, but I come from a family where we demand you tell us the truth. If something's go wrong with us, I need you to tell me that. You know what I mean? So it's just how she and I grew up. So we've always been honest with each other. But a lot of times in other families, they enable the behavior by not being completely honest and open about it. But it's okay. You'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Well, you don't need that. You'll be all right. Oh, that's just white folks stuff. You know what I mean?
But
so
this is what I challenge right here. But this is what I challenge. So I'm offering this, and not in a bad way. I got love for you. But you're now telling us how you do this and how you do that, and you talk about mental health, and then you're also single. And you also say, hey, what's wrong with me? So even though we say we do these things, when these points are brought up, all I ask is for people to really, not because I said so, myself included, when these moments come up, what we're offering about spirituality, mental health, support, solutions, is not for us to then talk about how we are doing it and how, yep, that's what I tell. It's for us to reflect. I love the conversation tonight because it's about not any one way is going to work for everyone. So we take it and reflect. If we already know we're doing it, then there's a mute point. But if we're not doing it, and if we heard it, if we say things like, man, all my life, that's a hint. If you get in trouble or someone makes you upset, you go, man, I'm tired of this all my life. Hint. And if you heard the same thing from more than 3 or 4 people, unless they had a committee meeting against you, independently, there might be some truth to it. So I just ask when we hear these things, we don't get into that's what I do and that's what I tell the people. Is meant for reflection. All right, so I seriously will land there because I don't. Thank you.
No problem.
That was good.
Yeah. I thought you were muted.
We need to have a doctor on staff at all times. We need to have a doctor on staff.
We're a community. We do this together. So I'm here for it with us.
I appreciate that so much. So listen, Black Man, do you want to continue on the show? Because I gotta get out of here, or do you all want to end here?
So if you want to play the video, you play the video, then we can get out of here after that. But Mr. Boss got the video?
It won't work. It shut us down a little bit ago. You remember when we went?
Oh, dang.
That's what happened. So I don't know.
Okay, well, cool. Yeah,
I was talking to you too, and I didn't realize it was gone. It was gone. We were gone. I know.
Yeah, we can roll out. Everybody got to get up in the morning. I know I got to get up and go hit the job in the morning. So,
okay. So you guys go ahead and give your final thoughts so we can end the show. This has been excellent. Like I said, we always need to keep a doctor in the house because mental health is a big part of our community right now, and we do need to know how to deal with it or what to do about it, I should say.
Right. And you know what, Security Boss? I'm glad you brought that up. It's always you need a doctor in the house because Dr. Nkumbe does a show on Black Men Unfiltered Network every Thursday at 7:00. So it's him and Coach K. So they do a show. They take questions. They do it. They just every Thursday at 7:00. So that's part of it too. So I mean, if you're going to do something, I mean, like he said, he comes in and tries to help as many people as he possibly can. So that's where we at.
I mean, it's excellent to have a doctor in the house. We need that. But listen, guys, on Thursday on Black Men Unfiltered Network, you can find Dr. Nakumbe. So y'all need to go over there if you got questions, whatever it is, you need to definitely. And then you're welcome here at any time, Doc. So we're here on when are we here? We're on Monday, and on Friday I have a show also. So you're welcome here anytime you just driving by. All right. So listen, go ahead, Black Man, shout out your channel for tomorrow. And anyone else who has a channel and show that's coming up, y'all let us know about them so we can have everyone go there.
Absolutely, absolutely. On tomorrow, we have a show tomorrow. Men are working too much. Men need to be at home with their families. So that's what we're discussing on tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you'll see, we'll have that discussion because it's been going around a lot. A lot of men are saying why. A lot of women are saying you should be at home or cut your hours. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow.
All right, Ray, it's good to have you here, Ray. Thank you so much for being here. It's your first time, but you're welcome at any time. Do you have a show that you want to shout
Absolutely. Honestly, so if you're not doing mental health on Thursdays, I'm doing money on Thursdays. We do Guns and Butter. It's normally money, macroeconomics, geopolitics, building. Sometimes we slip into relationships. The chat kind of runs our show. But final thoughts, I think that marriage is important for the right reasons, and we need to actually start focusing and cultivating and attaining some level of power in this country if we're going to fix anything for ourselves or to save this country. Because regardless of what anybody wants to say, with what's coming down the pipes from a financial standpoint and what's going on with this country and the agendas that they're pushing, it's going to take all of us as Americans to fix this, and we're going to have to do our part and pull our weight as part of this society. So
thank you so much, Ray. All right, Mandrill, let's give us some final words, sir.
Final words, people. Building together, that's not struggle love. Because I don't care if you're both millionaires. When you come together, you're both going to have to build. Like, you're never going to meet anyone who checks all the boxes. You have to find someone who's willing to do the work it takes to become the perfect person for you. You have to do the same thing in kind. That's how you become perfect for one another. That's through work and build. That's the building part. Finances, that's easy. All you have to do is figure out how to make money. So stop being so vain. Stop working so much. Get therapy. It works, So and think for yourself. Break out of the talking point mafia. It leads to nowhere.
I agree.
And you can catch me Wednesday nights on Black Men Unfiltered Network at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. My show is Unapologetic with Mandrill and Shushu. You guys know Shushu. She's my younger sister. Come check us out Wednesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right, selfish. Oh, you scam now. All right, scam likely. Go ahead, take us out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, work on your communication. Do more active listening. Listen to the person. Listen some more. Ask questions and keep listening. You got two ears and one mouth. Communication is bad. People talking at each other. People are talking through people and not actually listening and trying to solve problems. Critical thinking is lacking. People just want to come with the answer versus actually solving the problem. Identify the problem. And going through and find out what caused the problem in the first place so the problem can never exist again. Go to the gym. And if all that stuff fails, just troll somebody. They don't listen anyway. That's all I got.
All right, guys. So listen, it has been a terrific night, as always, on Monday nights. If anyone has any topics that they want us to cover, please send me an email or a comment or something my email address was sbshow2020@gmail.com. I would love to have some additional topics, questions, or whatever it is pertaining to marriage or whatever it is you want us to talk about. Scam, this was very good. Thank you so much for giving us this topic. If you have others, you know what to do. We appreciate you. So guys, listen, this Wednesday night, I am supposed to be on cruise season. It is at 10:30 Eastern time. Come join me there. It will be an outstanding night. Hopefully, we've been on a little vacation for the last 2 weeks, but hopefully on Wednesday night, we are back on cruise season at 10:30 Eastern time. And again, after that, I'm on Friday night over here again at SB Nation. You all are welcome. And again, thank you. Y'all have a good night and peace.
Keep it Charlie, stay down with them chickens. Let's get around like like it's the 80s, right? Round, let's keep spinning. Let's keep playing these games that we don't want to finish. And I'm sorry if that sounds a bit bitter, but I am to the core. You want the whole damn thing, then you ask him for more. You want that old jive swing, you take up all of the floor. I'm fine with standing at the edge of the door. You be the life of the party, I blend in with the core. You drink it all to Bacardi, till the bottles no more. Let's take it back for this started. You want the love, I don't got it. Got my soul on the road. You screaming steady, please don't go. Don't think it's in me to listen to foe. It's so different with distance, we roam into zones where nothing get hurt anymore. I just wish I was home when I stepped through front door, but instead I'm alone and completely unsure. And even though you're screaming out with the best of intentions, I don't get it. Why do you always gotta ask me to stay? Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. Say, why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts they too scared to usher off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in a daze, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove here away. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. Instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars, reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can fall out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Are you crying? And I'm trying to find the reasons, so I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black? I can't say, no, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road.